This week we have a showcase bonanza for you. Ubisoft, Disney and Marvel, and CD Projekt Red all brought us new stuff. Let's get into it and let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. What's up, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 24 for the second week of September 2022. I am your host, Mike Z, and joining me, as always, along this ride of life of ours is my co host, the beautiful, the magnificent, the elegant, the Birdman himself, Logan B. What's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the XP podcast. Yeah, got some exciting news to talk about again this week. We got some showcases to talk about, some things we've been doing that have been pretty exciting, and I guess a little thing I'd like to talk about is um, this week I tried a new energy drink called Raise Energy, and man, there must be something in that drink because it packs a punch more than any other energy drink I've ever had before. um, Kind of hurts. I don't know what it is. I actually had a little talk about this before we started the podcast with Mike. But yeah, I don't know what's with this energy drink, but man, it something about it. It like I think it might have some pre-workout in it, and I do not know. But yeah,
Oh,
it
I've
packs a
had Rays,
punch.
yeah.
I don't know why, dude, but I've had a lot of big energy drinks. Like I've had Bang, I've had Rain, I've had the actual G Fuel can. They all have 300 milligrams, and this has 300 milligrams. And some reason, every time I drink it, it like hits harder than any other one of those. It really gets me a little too pumped up. So if I'm like standing still or I'm not moving, my heart starts to like beat really fast, and I don't understand, which is just confusing to me.
Maybe it's like a sexual booster.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
it has some of that in there.
maybe you're just standing there like super turned on and like you're just like heart's pumping crazy. Well, this has gotten off to a good start.
Yes.
No, but I've
But
had this and yeah, I'm a bad example because like I said before the show, I've put pretty much every bad thing you can into your body short of it being illegalized. So short of drugs I've put into my body at some point in time. So I'm a bad example. I'm numb to all that, but yeah, I don't feel that with this one. I remember having it. I don't remember how long ago I had it, but I think I had like one or two cans, and it just felt like to me like a knockoff Bang or a knockoff Rain. Which, by the way, I think Rain is significantly better than Bangs, but
yes, I agree with that.
yeah,
100%.
Bangs just
Um
taste they're just too
they got like a
sweet.
sweetener to it. You know, that's
Yeah,
what it reminds me of. Like when you get like a tea and you put instead of like the sugar in it, you put the sweetener in it.
yeah,
And it really has that like sweetener flavor to it. Like it's a little too sweet. Like even if you get like in my opinion good flavors for most energy drinks like the blueberry and all that, it just does not taste right. Especially the strawberry Bang is the grossest thing I've ever tasted. It's so gross. Like I remember I bought two of them thinking, oh, it's gonna be great. And it was like a buy two get it was for $5 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll buy two bangs. And it's strawberry. I love strawberry. It's the worst strawberry drink I've ever had in my life. It's gross. But yeah, I mean, Ray's has good flavors. It's just for some reason every time I drink them, they really like hurt me. Like I had the blue one, which is the best one in my opinion, and then I think it's like sour blueberry or whatever. And then there's another one that's like Baja, which isn't bad, but it's got a very coconut forward flavor to it, so it's all right. And then there's another one called like Rainbow, which is like Skittles, but I'm not a big fan of it. And the only reason I'm trying these is because I went to Sam's Club. They have those big 24 packs, and it was either buy Monster Energy, which was like $40, which was insane in my opinion, or you just get the Rays, which was like $25. And I'm like, oh, I'll just get the Rays because it has more energy and it's the same amount. So Yeah, I mean, that's my journey with the new energy drink. We like to start off and talk about some new energy drinks that we do sometimes. So that'd be pretty interesting to talk about that. But other than that, it's been a pretty good week.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
give you the worst best friend advice ever. Well, the worst advice ever, but the best friend advice ever. Just keep drinking it. Eventually, you'll get used to things.
that's fair.
Yeah. Eventually, your body will adapt to the horrors that you're ingesting, and it'll just move on from there. So that's
You know, you
my.
might be right on that because I used to have that same experience with Bang Energy, and now when I drink Bang Energy, now it doesn't do that to me.
There you
So
go.
you might be
Perfect.
right on that.
So
Yeah,
those of you out there, if you're struggling with anything, just keep doing what you're doing, and eventually you'll feel better about it.
that's fair.
Oh, spoiler! Don't come to me for life advice. I'm not that great at it. All right, let's dig in the show. As always, we begin with a question of the week. This one, we're taking a little bit of a different approach. No who would win in a fight. No any outside there. Just simply wanted to ask a very basic question. Mr. Logan, what is your favorite or best experience in a genre outside of your normal play routines?
Okay. I don't know if you want to start or you want me to start.
Yeah, I'll go in because mine's kind of unexciting.
Okay.
And it's not. Excuse me, by the way, I burped. I don't know if that picked up, but it's not like I don't know if it's cheating because like a portion of the game is set in a genre that I play all the time, but the majority of my playtime has been outside of my normal genre plays, and that is Marvel's Avengers, the game I'm talking about. It is a very much in the end game and outside of the campaign, a live action, you know, wait, that's not right. I always say that. Live service game where you're going through and you're just doing these certain missions over and over again and trying to unlock better and better gear for your builds and all that. And it's a genre that I make fun of a lot. But as we've talked about time and time again on this show, something with this game clicked with me, whether that be the characters that you play or just the fact that I can do everything in the game without playing with other people, which is a great thing because I hate people and they hate me. So it all works out just fantastically in the end. But yeah, so I don't know if that's cheating a little bit because like obviously the narrative portion of the game is very much up my alley. It's a single player narrative driven game, and I love the campaign of this game. I think it's great, but it's the campaign's 12 hours, and I've played 300 hours of this game, so there's got to be something else there. And it's one of those things that kind of it opened my eyes to the possibility that I could find enjoyment. It's just these games are such a big time sink. Like they got to come out at the right time and they got to strike me fancy. I've been looking into some of the Destiny stuff that's been happening, talking with some of the Destiny guys on the Reddits and all that, and it seems like a great experience. They've been doing a lot of cool stuff with that game ever since launch and ever since they kind of parted ways with Activision in 2018, I believe it was, or maybe it was 2019 they parted ways. But it seems like they've telling a lot of cool stories. The DLC packs that are coming out, I guess technically expansions, have all been really well received and come included with like interesting story beats. Take note, Marvel's Avengers. We want actual stories to be told, not just us. You drop us a brand new character and say go ahead. Um, but so yeah, it's a game in a genre that I still never really see myself just playing long term. There's people out there that have. We know someone that has over 1,000+ hours in games like this, and that's never gonna be me. But it does kind of open my eyes and piques my interest a little bit more now when I see some of these games. I'm like, okay, I can see where I know what's good in this genre and I know what's bad in this genre now because I've played something that's arguably not that great in the genre and found enjoyment out of it. So it does, again, like, oh, maybe not open my eyes because I was always aware of what they were, but it makes me more receptive to the possibility of me enjoying certain things like that. All right, what do you got?
Well, first, I was gonna also say, if you ever do want to try Destiny 2, I'm willing to try it with you. If you'd ever want to play it,
See,
I'll download it. It's free, so I
yeah,
mean, we
I,
can
w-
always try the free thing and see what we think.
I was going to, but part of my research when I was talking to some guys, and they don't see this as a big negative, but there's something weird about me. And like nowadays, if you download Destiny 2, you can't even really play the original campaign. Like
You
it,
can't?
no, there's like something where, oh, what's the term that Bungie used? They're not. They, I don't remember the correct term that they use, but it's essentially like they don't backload things anymore. And like if they were to open up everything, it'd be like 280 gigabyte download. So they don't really do that. I wish they did, but most people say like the original campaign doesn't matter anymore. Like the new story that's they're told through, uh, I think they're on the third big expansion now, and the fourth big expansion is gonna cap off the story that they're telling currently. They say that's where the real good storytelling and world building happens. I don't know, but there's still something in me who's like, well, I kind of just want to play the whole game, you know. But so I'll probably never jump into Destiny 2, even though I want to. But
I don't
it's
know. Maybe there's
maybe.
still something better. Maybe there's I don't know. It's
Well,
free
from
download. We can always
yeah,
try it at some point.
from everybody that tells me like what they've been doing in the past couple years is significantly better than what was available in 2018. So, but I still feel like I don't know, just there's a part of me that still feels like I'm missing something from the experience. But who knows? Maybe next year, if we ever get a break in what seems like a deluge of video games next year, maybe we'll try it out. But probably not. Let's be honest. All right, what do you got for us?
Well, first, I'm going to start off with something. This isn't going to be my exact answer, but this would be a very cheap, very easy answer for me to give, and that'd be clearly be Elden Ring because it's a Souls-like game. It's out of my norm. I don't usually ever play Souls-like games, and I've never really cared for Souls-like games until I play Elden Ring. But that's not going to be my answer because that's an easy answer. Most people by now, if you've listened to the podcast, you already know it's like one of my favorite games of all time now. So I kind of like, that's not going to be my answer. That's too easy. I'm going to go a little bit deeper and I'm going to say actually a game that's really out of my norm that I really, really liked um, was Street Football, the NFL Street Football game. Dude, that game was awesome back in the day. I used to play the crap out of that game. It was so good. Um, yeah, I used to play it all the freaking time when I was a kid on the PS2, I believe. It was a good time. That and another football game I would say that I really, really like. And again, I don't really care about football like Mike does. I'm more of a baseball slash hockey guy. Hockey's more recent than baseball. I've always been a baseball fan. But and this is like double out of my norm because again, I don't really care about football and I don't really care for sports games. But yeah, like Street Football and also Blitz from like the 360 and PS3 age. Those two football games, so freaking good. Like some of my favorite football games out there because they had a lot of unique stuff done to them. They were very fun, especially with Blitz, where you can literally straight up give your football players steroids and like literally do like motor combat X-ray tackles where literally you break people's bones and stuff. Super cool. Kind of wish those games would come back, but will they? No. But they were really cool for the time.
Yeah, I mean, I've played all those games. I don't play sports games any. Well, I play some sports games. That's a lie. And I'm sitting here waiting anxiously for the eventual announcement of the new NCAA football game, which I will play for an obscene amount of hours. But yeah, I love those games. You know, I played them back in the day when I was a kid. You know, I think I like Street more than I like Blitz, just because I still got to play with some of like the trademark, or it's not trademarks, like the actual NFL teams and players and all that, and it was cool to see them in a different environment. But yeah, no, those games have a not a resounding place in my video game history because I was the more traditional Madden back in the day, NCAA football, MLB. I still play MLB. Speaking of baseball, Pujols tied A-Rod last night for fourth all time in home runs. He's 4 away from 700. He's one.
Jeez.
He's one away from being claiming the 4th spot entirely. So it's a magical season the Cardinals are having right now, and I'm enjoying watching every second of it. So, all right, anything else there, sir? Any other things you want to throw at us? I was trying to think of something more insightful and more deep, but I couldn't really come up with it because there's like a lot that I play and there's a lot that I like and I normally play, like all the way from small indie games to, you know, walking simulators, if you want to say, narrative driven, just, like Telltale style games, and then, your first person shooters, action adventures. There's a lot of stuff that I play, so it's kind of hard to come up with one of them, but I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But yeah, those are probably the three I could think of off my top of the head. But I think the football ones were a little bit more crazy for me because again, I'm not a big football fan, and I'm not a big sports game fan. So I just thought those were some very unique ones that kind of way out of my norm.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week, so you can listen to it whenever you desire. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP podcast and the Experience Point as a whole, please support us over on our Patreon, where you can be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there as well, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point spelled capital X, capital P, ERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. New episode reminders for you. Nothing new outside of the norm this week for us. However, next week will be the return of Thor Kage himself, DJ. He's coming back on with us, and we're going to give you our Open Critic predictions for the rest of the year 2022. So be ready, be excited for that. It's been an interesting year so far. Logan making a little bit of a comeback here with Splatoon. He got a bullseye with that one. So we will go over how we've scored in all the games so far and then give you our predictions on all the big games and all the games on our Fantasy League next week. So be ready for that. With all that out of the way, let's get into this week's show. In the news this week, we're talking all things showcase. We have Ubisoft showing us their future, Disney and Marvel giving us something, and the future of Cyberpunk has been revealed. Plus, a new Elite controller has been announced. PlayStation officially gets 1440p, and so much more. But before we get to all that, as always, it's time for What You've Been Doing, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing throughout the week, whether that be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, or comics. It doesn't matter to us because we like it all and love to talk about it. Mr. Logan Bergman, what have you been doing?
So this week, what have I been doing? Well, I guess I'll start off with the big one, the big hitter. As I said last week, I was playing Last of Us. Um, within the next day, I have already beaten Last of Us. And 2 days later, I beat the Left Behind DLC. So now I officially, technically, have beaten the entire story of that whole package. Wow, yeah, really, really good. And Mike, I know, is slow clapping in the background. Also, he sent me a bunch of messages of how proud he was.
I'm not slow
I
clapping.
told him,
I am smiling very cheesily
yeah,
though.
I told him that it's in my top 10 now, and I know he's very, very happy about that. But yeah, it was really, really good. Had a lot of fun with it. I got a little addicted to it, like so addicted to it I just couldn't stop, and I didn't realize how much time I was putting into it. And then I got to the end and I'm like, wow, this was awesome. Like I really had a ton of fun. Kind of happy I waited to play it and beat it now because for first thing, this new update to the game is amazing. Looks really great. I mean, I still am gonna stick to true to my word that I don't think it's worth $70, but I do think it is a if you ever can get it on sale or whatever, it is insanely good. Heck, even 40, $50. So this is totally worth that price, in my opinion. It is awesome. The story, obviously, if you haven't played it since 2013, either on the PS3, the PS4, or even playing the remaster on the PS5, but now the remake. The remake, yeah, well, remake, quote unquote. Really nice remaster is what I want to call it. It is super good. Graphics are great. The freaking enemy AI are way better from what I can tell. Because I have played a good portion of it on the PS4 remaster of the game. Um, and yeah, like I had a lot of fun. It was super good. Probably some parts were very terrifying. Um, I think probably the only part that I didn't really dislike, but man, it was a struggle. Was and I guess spoiler alert for people if you haven't played it since 2013. So I guess if you want to skip like a couple minutes ahead, man, those Ellie sections were intense. My God, dude.
Oh, dude, the whole
I
game
struggled
is in
so hard with those sections, man.
the
They
whole
were
game is
difficult.
intense, man. Like I'm playing through it right now. I'm pretty deep into it. Peyton and I are still playing through it pretty slowly, just so she can experience it, and we're just having fun with it. I'm not trying to rush anything, but yeah. Even playing this game now, I've beaten the game. This will be my fourth time beating the game, and it's like, dude, this game is still so fucking stressful, dude. It's so just stressful to play, and like you don't want to screw anything up, but it's very hard to have like a perfect stealth run through this just because of the way the enemy AI and the combat encounters are designed. Like things just go wrong, and that's like an intentional way that they've built this game and part two is like things go wrong and you have to just react quickly to it. And sometimes you end up finishing a fight with very little supplies left. Um, and that's just the beauty of the game. But go ahead. I got a lot of stuff to say. Well, not a lot, but I have stuff to say about it. But go ahead and finish up with what
So
you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, those sections, dude, they so brutal. Like, I mean, like it's kind of like what I kind of want to compare it to, and it's not as excessive as this, but it's kind of like the Spider-Man game when you switch between I feel really bad I can't remember her name. This is
Peter
really
and
sad.
Mary
I
Jane.
love Mary Jane, or I guess Miles. When you switch to Mary Jane and you basically lose all of his powers. Like, you don't have his powers anymore. You don't have all crazy combat moves. That's what it kind of reminded me of. It's not as excessive because you could still fight back. You still get, thing. But man, when I'm playing as her dude, my stress levels went like two times. Like, cause like it was already stressful playing as Joel, but like Joel is also like he has his experience. He's bigger. He could fight back. You get Ellie, can't really fight back very well. If you get grappled, you're kind of fucked. Like it's really bad. Like there's a couple times where it scared the fuck out of me because people come up behind me because the AI is insanely good sometimes, and I forget to listen. And they will just come up behind me, grab me, and they'll take like like 3/4 of my health, and all it takes is one bullet shot, and I'm dead. And yeah, like those scenes were extremely stressful, especially in the Left Behind DLC. My God, especially that last section where you had to stop them from breaking in. That was by far the most stressful part of the entire game for me. I don't know why, but that scene, dude, I barely had any ammo. I was trying everything I can not to waste any ammo whatsoever. But man, when she uses the bow, she is so fucking slow to pull the bow back. And it's like, dude, please pull it back just a little bit faster because like people spot you by the time you fully pull it back, and it's like it's stressful. It was really hard, especially because all of a sudden freaking the infected popped up. I don't even know how that happened. I still don't know how that happened, but they just kind of did like towards the end of the fight. And at one point they all kind of became one big horde and started killing all the people. And they rushed to me because there's one last dude pretty much watching over trying to find me. And yeah, I got killed in like 2 seconds because I couldn't kill the infected. They're super fast, and all I had was a bow, and she takes like forever to pull the freaking bow back. So I was like trying to run and pull the bow back, but it was just like really hard to do. So, but yeah, other than that, super good. I really loved it. I'm actually already, I already started a new game plus for it, so I already kind of started going through the main game again. I think altogether with the Left Behind DLC, it was probably 19 hours, I believe, I put into the game. And I didn't rush at all. I took my freaking time through the game. I literally like I looted everything. I checked every room. I did all the exploration. I tried to find all the collectibles I could. I tried to listen to as much things that were happening. Like when some kind of scene was happening where Ellie or another character shows up and they're all talking. Um, I try to sit down and listen and kind of hear it because I was really interested. I really loved all the side stories that were happening, especially I was really interested in the entire underground sewer civilization, is what I want to call it. I
Was
tried to
okay. I
grab
was just gonna
every
ask
note.
you if you got the story of Ish. The story of Ish is one of the the most renowned things about this game outside of the main story that people grab onto. It's something that Naughty Dog is masterful at doing, telling stories through their collectibles. They did it with Uncharted 4 and the entire story of the pirate civilization. And yeah, the underground story when you're well, I won't say exactly what's going on, but yeah, when you collect all the notes of Ish, and then especially you get like the rest of it when you go into the town right after the sewer. That is one of the most renowned things, and something that like deep fans of the game point to in terms of storytelling outside of obviously the main narrative, which is in my opinion, a masterpiece of storytelling. But yeah, the story of Ish is just it's so heartbreaking and just so well done, and you can miss all of it. You know,
Yeah,
you
you
get
really can. Like,
obviously.
cause I grabbed like everyone. Even I started from the beginning with the boat, and I pretty much read every note, even point where you got to the neighborhood, which I feel like I might have missed another note, but I don't think I did because it didn't really explain what happened at the end, other than they were just kind of holed up in that house, and they had a group of people alive. So I don't know if there's another note I missed, but I kind of was really curious about what happened at the
Well,
end. Other than that, like I was like, "Come on!" Like I'm really liking this. Like I'm really interested. Like I was reading every note, just following this story because it was kind of interesting that there was like two stories going on at once. Like I had the normal story of the game going on, but I had that dude's story that kept going, and I'm like, dude, I want to see what happens at the end.
well,
Um,
you know what happens at the end, because the way that they set that up and the way that they use like the world design and the set that you're playing in. Um, so what happens in the neighborhood, which actually comes after the all obviously all the underground stuff, is actually the beginning of that story. So you get the ending first, and then through the notes and through the world design, you have a understanding of the events that transpired with this certain group of people and the leader Ish. Especially when you get some notes by Kyle, who is another um person. He was I've always thought of him as kind of like a young adult, like, high teens, maybe a little bit older than Ellie is. That's always kind of how I pictured Kyle. But you get his ending, and through the level design, the world design, the storytelling that Naughty Dog is able to put into it, just by nature of putting things there and not having to tell you everything, you kind of understand how it all went down. And again, it's sad, especially, dude, when you get to the classroom. Oh my god.
oh, I know that
It's
scene was
rough.
brutal. Yeah.
It's rough, man. And again, people who are just playing this game quickly and running through it will miss all that. We'll have no understanding what that is. We'll have no comprehension of what happened. And, while I think that's doing a disservice, you can play the game that way if you want. That's not the way I ever choose to play it, but it's just one of those things that Naughty Dog is very, very good at telling stories with just the way what they put into the game, the set design, and the collectibles, which is something that a lot of other Sony studios does pretty well. I think Guerrilla Games and Horizon is a good example of that, telling stories about the world through the collectibles and all that.
Yeah, it was really really good though. I really like that whole thing. Like, I mean, again, I'm not much of a person that likes to sit down and read notes in games because sometimes I'm like, okay, this is just a bunch of stupid crap. But I really liked well, actually, pretty much every note in this game. Every time I found it, I read it, and it was just cool seeing little side stories of like what happened to people and everything. And yeah, I think Ish is probably the most memorable one for me, though. That one was just super cool because he kind of like got like a beginning to the end kind of storyline with him where you start off from like the boat and then you go through the sewers and you learn about his, you know, like, oh hey, I don't trust humans, but these people seem kind of trustworthy, and then it goes on and on and on, and it was super good. Like, I was like, wow, this was awesome. Like, I was like, man, I'm really interested. I wanted, like, when I got out of the sewers, I was like trying everything I could to find as many notes as possible to see if like what happened to them and everything. And yeah, it was super cool. I mean, I explored everything. I believe I opened up every safe. Hope I did. I mean, I tried to find everything in this game. I explored everything to the max. Um, but yeah, all together, I had a really, really good time with it. I really, really loved it. I love the combat. I love the story. Um, I uh, I will say there are some questionable, like there's one questionable thing that happened in the game I still don't understand. And I watch most videos on this. I don't get it. So wait, it's Max and what's his name? What's the other? I always forget the older brother's name, but it's Max is the little brother, correct? Yeah, yeah.
You talk about Sam and Henry?
Sam and Henry. Oh, damn. So it's Sam. That's the young one, and Henry's the older one. Okay. I don't get this, and I've watched a lot of video on this. Even when I played the scene and seen what happened, I still don't understand it. I guess spoiler alert if you haven't watched
Yeah,
this.
massive
If you
spoiler alert coming up.
massive spoiler, so
Give
just
us a
like
couple minutes to
yeah,
dig into
kind of.
this.
Um, okay. For first thing, he has a bite on his leg, but if you watch the scene where the infected jump on him, they're going for his neck. They didn't even bite his leg. I watched the scene. I watched most videos on this scene, and still yet there has been nothing showing that the infected bite his leg, but yet his leg was bit. If anything, it would have been his shoulder would have been bit, something else, but I don't understand where his leg got bit. So either this happened, bite happened way before that scene happened, and they just made it seem like that's when he got bit. I don't understand that scene at all. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, that's the only scene in the entire game. I'm like, what? Like, I know what I saw. I was literally using a sniper scope. The infected leaped onto him, which therefore couldn't have bite his leg. It would have bit his shoulder, if anything. But his leg was bit. So was his leg bitten before we met Henry and Sam? Or I don't know. I really that is one scene I still like I know it's kind of nitpicky, but like it just makes no sense to me. Like if we're gonna showcase his leg was bit, then why on the scene when they leap onto him, why is it that they leap, he falls down, and maybe the infected grabs onto his leg, and maybe that's how we could see that his leg was bitten. But we don't. We see the infected leap onto him, and his mouth, the mouth of the infected is near his shoulder. So I don't understand that scene at all. I thought maybe like I watched videos even on the last gen version to see if maybe that's how it was done, and maybe it was just like switched around for some reason. But nope, it's the same way. So I don't understand that scene at all other than he's just bitten on the leg for some reason. I don't get that. Like
Yeah,
I've looked up everything about it. I don't know why.
I think it's one of those things that, it is very nitpicky in the grand scope of things. But I think it's one of those things that were just kind of meant to just, oh, okay, when he got grabbed, he got bit, and it was in the leg. Like, I guess, being very nitpicky and technical, they could have done a better job of, like, maybe the infected crawls up to him when you're trying to shoot him and things like that. But I think it's one of the things that we're just not supposed to just deal with, obviously, but it's one of those things like, yeah, he got bit when he got grabbed, and that's just kind of the end of it. And I guess I've never looked into it that much. I just always saw it as, he got bit in the leg. So
Yeah,
I
that's why I was just kind of confused by it. I was like, what the heck? I was like, he got bit in the leg, but he got jumped onto, so how could he got bit on the leg? Whatever. That's the one thing in the game that I'll be like, okay, this doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I guess I'll just believe that he got bit on the leg. I mean, I would totally understand if he got bit on the shoulder. That would have made complete sense to me. But I guess they had to make it to where he could hide it, and if he would have got bit on the shoulder, it would have been pretty damn hard to hide that because they probably would have bit through his shirt. But whatever. Yin yang, either way works. Whatever. But that's like not something that's like super big deal. But it's just something I had to nitpick. Other than that, though, yeah, as I said, really, really good game, really, really fun. Kind of reimburses my opinion on the second one. Still, gonna get a little controversial here. I think the Fireflies are the most stupid fucking people I've ever met. They are so dumb in every way or form. Um, and honestly, just to get my opinion out there, I mean, I know Joel's a bad guy. I know he's very kind of what is it? What's the word? Selfish. I know he's very selfish for what he did at the end, but I also kind of like, well, even if they did kill Ellie, these people are fucking stupid. Like they're all dumb. Like they're really, really, really dumb. Every freaking minute in that game, everything they do is just stupid. From the beginning of the game, where they, blow up that military truck. Why? What was the point of that, other than just showing yourself and getting more people killed? Two, why did why the fucking hippie idiot dude get himself bit by a monkey? Like, dude, come on now. And then they had to move to a whole different location. Uh, Clearly, they couldn't even hold their own at the freaking courthouse, getting themselves all killed. Literally, every moment shows that they just keep getting themselves killed. They can't seem to. They have shitty leadership where literally their own leader gets shot at the beginning and can't seem to get the package to the group. And then when you get there, like they're running on shambles. Secondly, Joel's trying to save Ellie, and what do? Oh, they go and knock him out. Anyways, they clearly see he's trying to save someone. But Fireflies, big smart. Um, yeah, I mean, even if they did do the surgery, I really don't believe they could have made a vaccine. Secondly, I really don't believe they could even get the vaccine out to people without somehow dropping it and be like, oh shit, I dropped it, because that's how stupid these people are. I really, honestly, I don't feel sorry for the Fireflies at all. I think they're really dumb. And I'm not saying Joel was right. He was very selfish for doing this and not giving the chance. But I also kind of see that the Fireflies are big idiots, and they're like the dumbest people I've ever seen in like any rebels ever. Like they're probably the most stupid rebels I've ever seen in any show. Like they're dumb. And honestly, I had no faith in them even since the beginning of the game, just showing how dumb they are. And it just reimburses my opinion that I really don't care, like how I don't care about what Abby's dad dying, because like I've been trying to start the second game, and man, after playing the first game, it just really just shows like I really don't care about Fireflies. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel sorry for the Fireflies. I don't. I think they're dumb. They're idiots. Not saying that Joel wasn't selfish for what he did, but even if they did do the surgery, even if Ellie died, I don't believe they could have made a cure. I guarantee they couldn't have. Even if, let's say, they make the cure, let's say they get it, how are they going to freaking mass produce it? Secondly, how are they going to get it out to people? They can't even keep themselves alive for as long as, they could probably make something like that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna play the second game, beat it. I'm on actually the second half of the second game now, which is another thing I wanted to talk about. I am going now and playing The Last of Us 2 after beating the first one, which actually helps a little bit more so I can understand more of what Last of Us 2 is going on. I'm still probably gonna beat it. I'm on the Abby section right now, and it's whatever. It's not like horrible, but I know what they're trying to do, and it's not really working right now because I could don't really care, but I'll probably keep playing and seeing until I get to the end. But yeah, I just think even now my opinion is even more on the fact that I just don't really think the Fireflies were the smartest people. They're kind of idiots. So
Yeah, well, in the second game, Abby and her group are part of the Wolves. They're not part of the Fireflies. The Fireflies are dead,
no, I know,
thanks to Joel.
I know. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like what he did was I think both were kind of bad. I think even more reimburses that no one decision at all, not a single person. So
Oh no, and I think that's
I
one
honestly,
of the
all of
points.
them are kind of pieces of shit. To be
Yeah,
honest,
well,
they
I
all
think
should have gave her a
that's
decision.
100% the point that Naughty Dog is trying to get forth. Whether you like the structure of how they told the game or not, that's a conversation for any time that we want to talk about part two. It's a very controversial game. I'm on one side. There's a lot of people on the other side, and uh, I don't talk about it that much anymore because I don't. I much rather prefer to debate with people than just yell at each other. And it just seems like anytime you say anything on either side, you just get yelled at instead of people actually having a constructive conversation with somebody. So I don't talk about that anymore. We can talk about it because I know you're not going to yell at me. We may
No.
disagree, but you're not going to sit there and call me stupid for my opinions or anything. And I'll never call you stupid for your opinions. I'll call you
Yeah, again,
stupid,
I
not for
I
your
still
opinions, but
plan on beating. I still plan on beating the second game. I'm gonna get all the way to the end, even if I don't like playing the second half of the game. We'll see. Maybe it'll get better. I'm only at the very beginning in a sense. Like I literally just got to the camp and figured out about certain character shooting a certain character. The whatever the hell they're called. The whistle people is what I'm gonna call them.
Seraphites.
So Seraphites. Wow, that's a name I'll probably never remember. But yeah, basically that's where I'm at. Abby, I think, is gonna try to sneak out, I believe. So, yep, I'm gonna keep playing, keep seeing where it's going. I just did. I think I'm still in a flashback sequence where they're in the aquarium. So, yep. So I'm gonna beat that game. Other than that, I know this is kind of long-winded on what I've been doing this week, so I'll cut it short and get it real quick. I am other than games this week, I did start to watch House of Dragons. I only watched the first episode, and man, I'm really happy to see that Game of Thrones is kind of back in a sense. Like, I mean, I know it's only the first episode, but man, they packed a lot of twists and turns, and wow, yeah, it's definitely Game of Thrones.
It's.
They ain't
I told
holding
you.
back.
It.
It ain't holding
It's.
back at all.
I told you, man. It's so far, in my opinion, fantastic. I watched the third episode. I'll watch the fourth one tonight. It's I absolutely love it. I will give you a little bit of a shout out, or not a shout out, a little bit of a warning, just so you're ready for it, because it shell shocked me at first. In between each episode, there are time jumps, and not like a couple weeks. Like there are big time jumps before in between episodes, because I'm guessing the whole idea of this is to show the whole decline of the House Targaryen. So like between the first two episodes, between episode 1 and 2, there's a 6 month gap, and between episode 2 and 3, there's a 3 year gap. So,
Okay. Yeah, I
but
mean, I'm really excited now. Like, I've watched that first episode. I'm like, all right, this is what I like to see. So I'm really pumped now to actually start watching all of it. So hopefully I'll finish it by next week. I should easily finish it by next week to get back or get caught up and everything. So,
uh, let me try to run through things real
and
quickly
that's about
because
it for this
we're
week.
yeah
So,
we're already 43 minutes in. Let me try to run through some things real quick. Yeah, I'm 10 hours into The Last of Us Part One. I just reached the dam section. I literally just got there, so I just got past all the Henry and Sam stuff. And yeah, Peyton and I are going through this very slowly. I've collected absolutely everything because she's on a guide and I'm playing through it. So we're making sure that we get the platinum in this game. It's kind of funny. When you like obsessively go through and find everything, especially if you have a guide, you're fucking kitted out at all times. Like, there's a lot of times where I literally can't make or craft anything, and I can't pick anything up because I'm fully loaded on everything. So it's something that I kind of fun. I'm like, man, I feel kind of like a powerhouse, you know? I'm like a superhero running through this shit. But yeah, I don't know how much more I can say about my opinions of The Last of Us. I think it is um a masterpiece of a video game in terms of storytelling, world design, gameplay, level, writing, narrative, anything, any superlative you can throw at this game or any adjective you can throw at this game. I think this game knocks it out of the park in almost every single aspect. Yeah, there's little nitpicks to be had here and there, but in the grand scope of this 15 to 20 hours game that in story that Naughty Dog was able to tell through the main game and the Left Behind DLC. I think it's rivaled by very few other things in the genre of video games. Like there are other things that I've enjoyed so much, but in terms of just what a narrative is and what it can achieve in this industry, there's very few things in my opinion that can stand toe to toe with what this first game was, which is why, when we made our top 10, spoiler alert, I put this game over the second game because I think it's a better game. It's paced better. It's told better. I personally think the writing's on par with both games. Again, that's a controversial opinion. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about, but I personally think the writing is uniform throughout both games. But the the pacing and the gameplay in some of the sections of part two kind of slow it down a little bit for me. It's the same complaint I had about Gears 5, is I think sometimes it goes a little too big and it grinds the game to a halt for me. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot more I can say about a game that I think is one of the best ever made. And this just solidifies that, and I think it's the best version and way to play. I will say some of the critiques, I'll get out of the way. I'm with you, and I don't believe this game should have been $70. Now, saying that, I think the game, playing through it and having a pretty big knowledge of what the original game was and being able to see some of the big differences that are in this game, I think it justifies the title of remake, if that's even something that anybody cares to say. I think it is a remake. I don't think it's worth $70, especially if you've already played The Last of Us. But I think it clearly is a remake. I mean, a simple fact is one of the things that I noticed. There's multiple encounters with the Stalker enemy in this game, and those were not in the original games. The Stalkers were not an enemy in The Last of Us Part 1, so they completely redesigned the sections and included the Stalkers as enemies in this game, and those sections are fucking tense as hell. I hated fighting. Well, I loved it, but I hated doing those sections in part 2. And when they showed up in part 1, I was like, oh shit, these guys are in here. And so far, there's been 2 different combat encounters that I think were smartly interwoven and improved on the original in both of those 2 gameplay encounters well, I guess just combat encounters in general. Obviously, we've talked about the visual fidelity of this game. I think, again, it's up there and rivaled by very few other games in terms of facial animations, character animations, visual fidelity, all the superlatives and adjectives you can throw around. Again, I think it's better than most other things out there and rivaled by very few. So, me personally, I think it justifies a remake. I think it is a remake. Is it worth $70? I would say, in a constructive criticism's sake, no. But worth is up to the individual. So you guys decide out there. If you haven't played The Last of Us, this is the best version of the game. If you have played it and you're wondering if it's worth spending $70, I would say to you, probably not, unless you have a deep reverence for what this game is and what this game can be. And you have a different way of coming at it. Like me, for example, I'm coming at it. I want to delve deep into it. My girlfriend and I are playing through it slowly. She's getting to experience it all over again so she can play part 2. So I had a reason for my justification that I'm fine paying $70 for this, because it is the outside experience that I'm having with it along with the game. But it's up to everyone out there listening to decide if $70 is the right price point for you. And that's all I'll say about that. So, all right, other than video games, I said watch episode 3 of House of the Dragons and episode 3 of The Rings of Power. House of the Dragons is getting acclaimed all over the place, so I don't really have too much to say outside of what I said last week. I think the show so far has been fantastic. I love the character work. I love the writing. Episode 3 introduces kind of like a turning point for the characters. Pretty much all the characters end episode 3 in a much different place than what they began. And it really sets the stage for what I would feel like is their character and their how do I want to say this? Like the driving point going forward throughout the series and the season, however long it may be. So, the Rings of Power said, watch episode 3. I just have to stand back and just try to figure out where the hate is in this show. Like, is it incredible? No. Is it good? Yes, absolutely. This is a good to great TV show. Is it amazing? Is it The Fellowship or is it the original trilogy? No, it was never going to be. But, like, is this thing a 2 out of 10? Is it the worst thing known to man? No. There's been so much care and reverence for the series, especially in the visualizations. You know, we got to go to, well, minor spoilers here. We got to see Khazad-dûm in its full glory in episode 2, which was amazing. And there's a conversation between two characters that I think show that this show can have fantastic writing, and that whole conversation between those two characters not only gave us the reasoning behind where they are in the current history of the show, but it gave us a history of where they had been, all within the span of like a 5-minute scene. And that right there is the sign of great writing, when you can get across an entire 50-year history of two characters, or 20-year history, however long it was, and just having a conversation between two people. Great writing there. Episode 3, we got to see finally the famous island city of Numenor, and it's beautiful. It's it's visually stunning, this show. Obviously, they spent, like we talked about, a shit ton of money, and there's sometimes I watch something like, where did all this money go? And you kind of question, like, what did they spend this money on? There is no question where they spent this $500 million on this show. It is all up front and on screen, and they're giving it all to you. So, again, I think it's great so far. Is it the best thing in the world? No. But I guess in today's time, we've lost the ability to just enjoy things and not, not just be okay with having something that's good and not great, What do you think about that? Because, like, even in video games, we see something's either beloved or hated. There's very few things anymore in the grand scope of things. We do it here, where there's plenty of things that we're like, yeah, it was fine. It's nothing special. It's nothing great. It's fine. But it just seems like things are either loved or hated, and it kind of annoys me. What do you think?
I think also another reason why people maybe are is mostly because I think people were a little bit overhyped for it. When they seen Lord of the Rings, they were like, "Oh man, this could be like the greatest shit to ever exist."
But should they be? Because we're coming off The Hobbit, and The Hobbit
I know,
sucks.
that's what I'm saying. But people, when they get the Lord of the Rings, I think they bring their hopes up a little too high. And they probably were thinking like, "Oh man, this is gonna be like." They probably were also fanboying like, "Oh, this is gonna be better than House of Dragons." Like, like Game of Thrones came off a shit show, so this is gonna be like, I guess like a better. I don't know. I really don't know where I'm going now at this point. But basically, I just think people are hyped for it, and I think people are disappointed. And so when people are disappointed, they happen to be excessively disappointed when literally they shouldn't be as disappointed. Like their hype kind of ruined the whole thing. When in reality, they should just went in, enjoyed it for what it was, and not gotten so hyped for it. And I honestly believe that's why people are so angry about it. They're like, "Oh, this isn't Lord of the Rings. This isn't those movies all over again. Like this is not that." And I mean, also the budget doesn't help either. When you hear all that money they spent, people probably also got extremely hyped for it, thinking like, "Man, this is going to be like the best cast ever. They're going to have like, the best storytelling. Like they're putting all this money into it, so clearly it must be like freaking the best, Lord of the Rings thing ever." But nope, good, and I'm not gonna say it's bad because I haven't watched it. I don't have any opinion on it other than I just think people were a little too overhyped for it, and I think they're just a little disappointed that it's not as good as they were hoping it to be. But still, that doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah,
it's just not as good as they were hoping it to be. So don't give it a 1 out of 2. Just know that
a
it's
one
not
out
as
of
good as
two.
you hoped it to be. Yeah, or sorry, 50%.
Yeah.
Whatever, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10. I don't know, 2 out of 10. Whatever they're scoring it at, like I don't think it's probably that bad, even from not watching it. But I will see that probably people are just a little bit more disappointed because their hype level was a little too high.
Yeah, I mean,
Before it
and
came out.
I was very excited about this. We talked about it with DJ a while ago. I don't exactly remember what episode, but I was very hyped for this. And have I been disappointed by anything? No. Like I said, like, have I been absolutely riveted and thrilled. Like, is there certain character storylines that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next. We're starting to get to that point. There's a couple characters where I'm like, oh, I am into this. I want to see where they go with this, and I want to see who some of these people end up becoming, because there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of deep knowledge that you can go off after you've watched the episode and dive into all the breakdowns and everything and really try to figure out who these people are, because not everything's been revealed yet. The show is doing a good job of holding things back from you and not just showcasing their hands. And like I said, I think the money, I can clearly see where the money went instead of going to the island realm of Numenor, seeing Khazad-dûm in its full splendor after seeing what it is like thousands of years later in the original trilogy. We know what happened to everything, but seeing it in its true heightened form, I think I think it's great. I think it's a great TV show so far. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it, and I am excited each and every Thursday that I get to watch a new episode. And finally, Cobra Kai Season 5 came out this week. I watched the first 2 episodes. I'll probably finish it very quickly here. I'm trying to balance between that and The Last of Us and all the other stuff that I'm watching right now. But yeah, I think Cobra Kai is one of the best TV shows running right now. It's one of the most just badass TV shows out there right now. Just some of the things that happened. It's like, yep, that was just badass. That was all that scene was trying to accomplish, and accomplished it tenfold. Is just being a scene where the characters just continually show how fucking cool they are. And so those of you out there that haven't seen Cobra Kai yet, it's an easy show to binge. Episodes are, 30 to 35 minutes tops. And it's great. It's absolutely fantastic, especially if you remember the old days of the Karate Kid, and not some of the newest stuff they've done. Some of the newest stuff they've done outside of the show are not that great, but the first 2 movies are pivotal to this series, and it's great. So that's all I got to say on that. Are you ever gonna jump into Cobra Kai?
It'll probably be one of those things I'll wait till it's completely finished and then I'll watch it. I don't know. I'm not like that excited for it because I'm not as interested as a lot of people are with the Karate Kid. I never was a big fan of that, so uh, I don't know how much I'm gonna like this show. I'll probably give it a try at some point, but I don't know when. It'll probably be sometime down the line. I don't know when exactly.
Well, let's just hope Netflix doesn't randomly cancel it mid-season.
I don't think they will. If they came out with 5 seasons for the show, I don't think it's going in.
No, and it has huge viewership. It does. It's one of the tentpole shows, so I don't think it's going anywhere until the people making it decide it's over. But all right, if you don't have anything else, sir.
Nope.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was what you've been doing. Please let us know down below what you guys have been doing, what you guys have been enjoying. Are you watching Rings of Power? Do you like it or hate it? Have you been watching the House of the Dragon? And do you think it's a return to form like Logan and I do? Please let us know. We'll be interested to talk to you and hear what you have to say and discuss different opinions and all that. We like discussion. That's what we do here. We even like disagreeing, but we like constructive disagreeing. So, all right. We're going to move on now to Around the Point, where we here at the Experience Point go around the video game world and give you the news that you need to know about. Number 1 on Around the Point, and pretty much the first 3 or 4 things that we're talking about, it was a deluge of showcases and news coming out of this weekend. We're going to start with Ubisoft. Last night, they gave us their forward for September 2022 and announced a lot of things. I'm just going to run through a bunch of the stuff, and then we're going to talk about just random stuff. We're not going to really do this in order per se. So I'm just going to talk for a little bit, run through some stuff, and then we'll get into some of the things we liked or disliked, okay? Are you there?
Yes. So
Okay.
I was just waiting for you. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
I'm here.
All right. So we'll start with the big one. About halfway through the Ubisoft forward, they cut away and went to an absolute Wait, that's not the word I wanted to do. They went to their own thing that they called Assassin's Creed Showcase. It was a showcase within a showcase, so we got even more showcases this week. And they talked all things upcoming in the Assassin's Creed universe. They announced Assassin's Creed Infinity will officially consist of the first 2 games, one of them finally being set in feudal Japan known as Codename Red, another one being set in what seems to be kind of a horror-esque type of thing called Codename Hex. We got our first official look at Assassin's Creed Mirage, confirmed to be set in Baghdad 20 years before the events of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where you play and experience the upgrowing, I don't know. You experience Basim's story from inception, from the time that he's a street thief all the way up until he is a core member of the Hidden Ones and the Assassin's Creed as a whole. You also got some new news on a riveting Codename Jane, which I actually have a super funny story about because I died laughing. This game is set in ancient China. It is the first open world Assassin's Creed game developed exclusively for mobile devices. And then we saw the last chapter, which is the final DLC pack for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It'll be coming out later this year. And that is all we got from the Assassin's Creed. That's not true. We got an announcement of a Netflix series and apparently a exclusive Netflix mobile game. So that was it. That was what we saw from Assassin's Creed. They talked about it for about 30 minutes. I'll run through my thoughts real quick and then turn it over to Mr. Birdman over here. I thought some of this was really cool. Some of it got me interested and excited. Some of it I fucking laughed out loud at because I thought it was the stupidest decision of all time. But Codename Red being set in feudal Japan, we're finally getting it. I think it's a little too late because we already kind of got a better version of this. Well, maybe a better version. This could come out and be fantastic. No one knows yet. We'll see. But I think they're about 5 years too late to making this game. But it did look, I mean, it was a 19-second trailer. But I guess the idea of an Assassin's Creed Shinobi, the combining of the two things, ninjas, assassins, they kind of go hand in hand. And the idea that we'll get to play as a Shinobi warrior in feudal Japan. That's exciting. That's cool. Finally, we got it. Codename Hex. No real clue what this could be. We didn't even see a character. So, again, don't exactly know if it is a more horror-focused Assassin's Creed game. I mean, they say it's a very different type of Assassin's Creed game that could feature some form of witchcraft work. So the idea of what's going on here could be interesting. It could just be another game. But the one I wanted to focus on, Assassin's Creed Mirage, we talked about it last week, and it seems like all the rumors that we heard are in fact true. The game takes place majority in the city of Baghdad and the surrounding areas, and it focuses on Basim and his rise from a street thief all the way to a full-fledged assassin of the Hidden Ones. And from everything that I saw here, it seems very, very likely that we're getting a return to form, not in terms of quality, but in terms of the overall scope of the game, of what the original Assassin's Creed games were, with a focus on singular city, deep, massive world that's just focused on building this one city up and making you feel connected to this and getting to experience the whole journey of an assassin, very akin to what we did with Ezio. We saw him at the beginning of his life and played all the way through his life as an assassin. So I'm very excited about this. I had obviously still reserved because it is Ubisoft, and we'll get into a lot of Ubisoft decisions after we talk about Assassin's Creed. But I thought the 3 big games that they showed off, Mirage, I think looks really cool, and the idea behind it is very interesting to me. Codename Red, finally. We'll probably have to wait a couple years to figure out what that is. And then Hex might be interesting, but we didn't. We got 30 seconds on that one, so who knows. But the thing I laughed out loud at was Codename Jade. And When they first showed it off and they first said a open world Assassin's Creed game on mobile, and then the first image came on screen, and I thought these fuckers were about to just Ubisoft the shit out of us. It's like, oh, you've been wanting a game set in ancient China or ancient Japan. Here you go. It's on mobile. Enjoy. I was a little premature in my criticisms there because we ended up getting a feudal Japan game, but I did have to just die laughing because I thought, yeah, of course, because this is what we've wanted from Assassin's Creed. Um, I do, however, think this game has some potential. I'm not a mobile guy. I'll never play it, but the fact that you can create your own character is something new for the franchise and something that could be interesting. Um, the other things they announced, I don't care about Assassin's Creed Valhalla anymore. Too long of a game. Too much just things that I don't give a shit about. And the Netflix series, we'll see how that works out. We saw how the movie ended up, which was absolute cesspool of garbage. And then whatever the exclusive Netflix mobile game is, all that seems really dumb. But the three big ones in my mind are Mirage, Codename Red, and Codename Hex. Mirage and Red seem to be pretty interesting. Let's hope Red isn't a 150-hour Assassin's Creed game. Let's hope. And then Hex piqued the interest a little bit for what little we got. All right. Turn over to you, Mr. Birdman, the Ubisoft apologist. Just kidding. Uh, what did you think about the Assassin's Creed part of this forward?
Honestly, more confused than anything. Um, a lot of stuff being announced, and I'm just confused. I mean, they have, we clearly know Mirage is supposed to be the next one, but then we have like the Japan one. Then they came out. I don't remember the other one. You just explained it, but the one with the weird wood cut out of the
Hex.
Assassin's Hex. Those two other games they announced that aren't coming for another like 6 years, or they did. I don't know if this was a part of it, but I did just see a video on Codename Project Infinity, which I'm thinking maybe the Japan and the Hex are all part of that.
So the way they explained it in the showcase was Project Infinity isn't exactly a game. So it's going to be a wider universe that the individual games are connected to. Now, what that means, I have absolutely no clue because they didn't really explain it. Um so yeah, I don't really understand what's going on with Codename Infinity or Project Infinity, whatever they said it both ways, so I don't know what it's called, but it seems to be like an overarching connection between these main title games going forward, and that's why we're getting things called Codename Red instead of an actual like title like Mirage or Valhalla. Um, I don't really have any opinions on Infinity because they didn't really tell us too much. It sounds stupid, and I would much rather them just come out with the individual games. Like the games are already connected by way of storytelling and all this other things. I don't know why we need something higher to connect them all. But I did get a feeling that like, it is something that you can play that then you can go into these different storytellings or games a la Red and Hex. And I don't know. It's all very confusing. I don't really understand it. So maybe I'm doing a very bad job of trying to explain something that I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just kind of confused by it all, to be honest. Because like again, like I don't even know why they announced the other two games. Because like who knows when they're coming out? Like are they coming out next year? Is one of them coming out? How big are these projects going to be? Are they all small time like DLC kind of games? Like I don't know. This whole thing was just kind of weird in my opinion. I feel like it was a lot of info dropped at once, and yeah, some of it like makes sense. Like they have that mobile game that's coming out. They have the Netflix show. This is all stuff that you could see coming pretty soon. But then they announced those two other games, and it's like, why? Like, I mean, when did they come out? Like, are they going to be? Is this like a thing that's going to be released every year? They're going to come out with the Japan one first, and then the next year they're going to come out with the other thing. But why announce so early. Um, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I think the whole thing's kind of weird. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess the Assassin's Creed showcase was just kind of weird to me, in my opinion. Am I excited for any of this? Absolutely not. I've lost all faith in Ubisoft. That's why I almost didn't care to even watch this showcase because I don't care at all. I really just don't think Ubisoft can make a single good game anymore. I just don't trust them. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're just talking about the Assassin's Creed showcase so far, so we haven't really talked about the Ubisoft
Well,
one.
what do
There
you
are
think
some.
about Mirage? Because Mirage really was the showcase. We got 3.5 minutes of that. They really focused on, starting out and letting us see that first and foremost as the new centerpiece moving forward, and the idea and seeming confirmation that it is what we all, at least I, hoped it would be. Um, I know it's Ubisoft, and I understand everything that they've done, but there's still a part of me that believes a return to form is going to equivalent to a good game.
I could hope, but it looks more like Valhalla. That's what it kind of reminded me of. So I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really look into the details, but I'm sure there's going to be some kind of Valhalla or Odyssey thing stuck in there in some way or form. So, nah, I'm not excited for Mirage at all. Like, at all. Looks okay.
Fair enough. All right. The rest of the showcase, thing that actually took place before the Assassin's Creed showcase, but I wanted to focus on it because it's something. It's the only thing I really care about. All right. So they started with a very, very long gameplay demo of Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Um, announced a couple things here. They announced the release date of October 10th, I believe. Am I wrong on that? 10th or 20th? I don't remember which one it was. They announced that there will be significant post-launch support, including Rayman as a playable character, which I guess people are excited for. I like Rayman, but I guess people are excited for. Um, yeah, it was very long. I checked out very much during this. I know Logan's excited about this game, even though he says he hates Ubisoft. He is excited about this game. So we'll get to that in a second. They then went on to show some more of Skull and Bones. I definitely checked out during this one. I don't care. Still coming on November 8th, which is actually one day later than they originally said. So, yeah, they're going head up against Sonic Frontiers now. So same day, same launch. They showed off some more DLC from Trackmania. The game doesn't apply to me, but I do know there is a massive audience for this. I've watched some videos on it. There's one YouTuber that I watched that he's very much into the Trackmania. So I know this was big for a lot of people. Just Dance 2023 got announced. If you like Just Dance, well, there you go. It's Just Dance. A new Rainbow Six game came out, and guess what? It's on mobile, ladies and gentlemen. So, yay. A brand new
Well, it's
free-to-play
just
game.
it's basically literally just Siege on mobile. It's
It
exactly what it
says a
is.
brand new free-to-play game that was built from the ground up for mobile devices. You can
I
experience the
mean, it is
closed
built from
beta.
the ground up, but it is Siege, just Siege,
Okay.
which is
Well,
which is great. I mean, hey, honestly, I'll probably give it a try because I like Siege. I mean, I used to love Siege, but Siege has not been the same. They've done a lot to it, and just like anything Ubisoft finds a way to mess it up in one way or form, and well, they did. So
Well,
yeah.
you can try it out tomorrow from the time of recording. For those of you listening, you can already try it out. So comes out September 12th. Then we got some more information on the Division 2. We saw Season 10 and the announcement of Season 11. Season 10 comes out this week on September 13th. Season 11 comes out at the end of the year. Then we got a new look at the free-to-play game, Division Heartland. It says still on track for release in 2022 or 2023. That's a terrible sentence. It's coming out in 2023. A new survival-focused Division experience. And then we also got, you guessed it, a mobile spinoff for the Division called Resurgence, come out next year. We got some more DLC announcement and some more updates for Riders Republic officially getting BMX biking. The Crew 2 got an announcement. So that game, I guess, is still being played by 3 people. Good on you if you are those 3 people. You get to play some more on September 14th. There's some vehicles coming out. There's a bunch of tracks. There's a new reward system. Don't care about any of this. Mythic Quest Season 3 got a new trailer and sneak peek. Brawlhalla is getting a crossover with Castlevania. And then, obviously, the Netflix and Ubisoft partnering on a live action Assassin's Creed. We already talked about that. And then, for the next month, you can get Ubisoft Plus absolutely free and play all their games that they had to offer. And that was it. That was the hour-long showcase. I think it was an hour and 3 minutes exactly. Outside of the Assassin's Creed stuff, there was a whole lot of absolutely fucking nothing here for me. I skipped through most of this, if I'm being honest. I focused. I watched some of the Division stuff because I do kind of think the Division is Ubisoft's best franchise right now, and I think it's where most of the quality is. Like, I know a lot of people love the Division 2, and it's a game that I don't think the quality has suffered. Obviously, third party here. I haven't played it or anything like that, but I do know some people, or listen to some people who like the Division, and they say mostly that they have maintained a decent high level of quality throughout this game's entire run. But everything else here, a bunch of mobile games, a bunch of DLC coming out for just a bunch of games that I don't really think many people care about. And that's my honest opinion. The new information we got on Mario and Rabbids, the game looks good. It looks fine. I probably won't play it. I own the first one and haven't even taken it out of its plastic wrapping. So there's my opinion on that one. And Skull and Bones looks like, I honestly think the game looks like it'll get a bunch of 6s. 6 out of 10. I think people are going to review this game as, yeah, it's fine. But I don't give a shit. All right, what do you think about the rest of this?
Wow. I mean, Ubisoft really is going on trying to get as much money as possible. A lot of free to play and mobile. Sounds like another showcase we'll be talking about soon. Um, uh, yeah. I mean, Heartland seems kind of cool, but it's going to be free to play, and it's probably going to be a miserable, disgusting Ubisoft game. So I would like to say it looks cool, but anything that sounds cool in Ubisoft is dog shit. So I'm gonna say I would wish that it would be good, but I don't think it is gonna be good. It looks cool, but that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I do want to throw one thing out right
Another
now. So, real quick, we're talking about a bunch of free to play games, and the only game that I think should honestly be free to play isn't free to play. Skull and Bones. We didn't hear anything
Yeah,
about free to play here,
agree with
so
that.
I think it's official that Skull and Bones is a full priced game, and I think that
Oh
is
no, it
the
is. You can go pre-order it. It's $70.
yeah, I
So
think that's the biggest mistake because this game needs to find an audience very quickly and show what it's made of. And I think the best way to do that would be free to play, get people in here and say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is the base. We're going to build off this. And the fact that they're not doing that, they're asking people to try out an experience that no one is really anticipating that is going to be a great experience. I'm sure there's people out there that are very excited about this, and if you are, that's great. I hope you love it. But I personally think this game is one of the few games that needs to be free to play to get people in there to show people, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. Stay with us. Stay engaged, and you'll find some reward here eventually. But it's not. That's not the decision. And I personally think it is the very wrong decision. I guess theoretically you can play this game through Ubisoft Plus. It is included day one. We got that announcement. But I don't actually know anybody that even knows about Ubisoft Plus existence other than actually be actively engaged with it. So
yeah. Yeah. I I'm just like most of the showcase was just kind of like whatever. Like again, I don't care about mobile games. Well, I'll try the Six mobile game for probably a day and be like, "Oh, this is cool," and then never play it again. Yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to be because I don't really care about mobile games because they're all the same. They're all about basically, hey, here's this game we made, and then and we're gonna make it mediocre because we're gonna put a ton of microtransactions in it, and that's all mobile games. So I don't care about any of these as much as how cool they look on the outside. I know what they are in the inside. They're all just money hungry games with tons of microtransactions because Ubisoft is begging for money, and that's why everything's becoming free to play from them. So, yep. Uh, Again, I really do. I mean, you are probably this division's probably the only thing they have not inherently completely screwed over. Um, but if I know anything about them, it seems like every game that comes out, after their games haven't been messed up are bound to be messed up. So probably Heartland will be a dog pile of shit, So yeah, great. I want it to be good. It looks cool. Sounds like a good idea. Because Division has a really cool, really nice kind of gameplay style to it. It actually feels really good. It's really smooth. I like Division 1 most of the time until the end, and then it just becomes a grind fest, which, I mean, is all those kinds of games. So if you like that stuff, but this sounds kind of cool. It's like a survival game, and like I don't know if it's gonna be like it didn't really explain it very well. Is it gonna be like Tarkov? Because man, oh man, I will probably try it if it is like Tarkov. Or is it like I don't really know what else it could be like. Is it just gonna be a game where, like is it gonna be just one big dark zone? Kind of how like they did with the Division games, which if they do it right, it could be good. The only reason I don't like Zone and Division, which was the biggest disappointment for me, was that if you have higher gear than other people, then you just instantly win. There's no if, but, or and like you just lose. And that's what the Dark Zone kind of screwed up in the Division. That's why I didn't care about the Division anymore because I played the beta, really liked it, played the game. I think the story was pretty good, and I like the gameplay a lot. And then you get to the Dark Zone, which is the end game thing, which is PvP, which again sounded really really good on paper. And then you play it, and then people have higher gear than you, and then basically you instant die. And they also kind of screwed it up because you basically either like the whole thing was like Dark Zone was a Dark Zone, so like agents can become bad, but the whole thing was that if you shoot another player, they basically slap you with a ruler. Anyways, the whole damn point of the Dark Zone is to have PvP, but instead of doing that, they slap you on the wrist and like, oh, that's a no. You shot someone. Well, now you barely do any damage to them until they shoot you, and then it actually becomes a fight. Like that's just dumb. I don't know how Division 2 was, so I'm not gonna say if they fixed that or not. I don't know. Again, after playing Division 1, I didn't really care to play Division 2. I inherently don't think Division was a horrible game. It wasn't as good as I hoped it to be, but I still thought it was good. Um, Division 2, I mean, I'm sure it's good. I heard it's better, and I heard there's a lot of things they're doing with it, and it's basically becoming like the Destiny for Ubisoft. So, I mean, again, I don't know if it's good or not. So, if you haven't played Division 2, I guess, or if you have an opinion and you want to give us a comment down, just let us know. But again, if Heartland is what I hoped the Dark Zone to be, it could be really cool. So, probably the only thing in this entire showcase I'll keep my eye on. Everything else, I really don't care.
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Like the Assassin's Creed part didn't really excite me super high, but the idea of some of the things that they're attempting to do gives me some sort of hope that maybe it's not trash. I mean, I'm an Assassin's Creed apologist, even though I criticize it heavily, especially Odyssey and Valhalla. I criticized heavily. Again, I will still say that in both of those games, I think there is an incredible 30 to 40 hour experience stretched out over 100 hours. And if they can tighten all that up and give us a 20, 30, 40 hour experience in some of these games and make them really tight and not worry about the overwhelming bluster that is what these games have become, I think that's good. And I'll be on board for that. Um, and that has been my biggest problem with Assassin's Creed is it just seems like there's bloat for the simple sake of bloat. And obviously that's not what is good game design. That's actually really terrible game design. So if they are saying, hey, we're going to make smaller quote unquote games and give you a solid 20 hour experience spread over 3 different entries, I'm honestly on board with that. I'm okay with that as long as they are good Assassin's Creed entries. Because, like I said, for all the problems I have with Valhalla and Odyssey, it's not in the core gameplay. It's in the design of the world and the structure of the games themselves. All my biggest problems with that game. Like I still think Valhalla is fun to play for 30 to 40 hours. It's the next 50 hours plus that drags the game down to an absolute halt and crawl and makes me not want to play it. So, but I am an apologist for the series. I will be critical of it if I need to be critical of it, because that's what I always pride myself on being. But I have been with Assassin's Creed since the beginning. I'm going to still hold out hope that there is something there still to be shown and they can still make quality experiences as long as they just kind of reel themselves in and give us those good 20 to 30 hours, like I said. But outside of that, yeah, we talked about it. I don't care about anything else they showed. It was a lot of BS. It was a lot of free to play, a lot of mobile games. And I just don't care. I did want to point out, I remember now, there was a point, I don't exactly remember where it was in the showcase or what they were talking about, but there was a line that says, "We here at Ubisoft make the games that you love to play, and we want to keep doing that." And I was like, "Oh, that's an incorrect statement." I was like, you never actually make the games that we want. We've been asking for a bunch of games, and then you come out with the exact opposite of what we want, which is why we don't like you. We've been asking for a Splinter Cell game for approximately a decade now, and you still haven't made it. So no, Ubisoft, you do not make the games that we want to play, which is the core reason why people do not like you anymore, is because you don't make the games that we want to play. We used to love you because you made the games that we wanted to play, and you were okay with just making the games that people wanted. And now you've moved on to not doing that, which I don't really know why. I don't think any of us know why or what happened in the hierarchy of Ubisoft to have them become what they are today and where they went wrong. Because, like I've always said, I used to be excited when Ubisoft games come out, mostly because I knew what I was getting. When the new Far Cry came out, I'm like, I know what I'm getting here, and I am ready for that experience. When the next Assassin's Creed came out, I'm like, I know what I'm getting here, and I'm ready for that, and I just want to see what else is there. And now it's like, I know what I'm getting, and I don't want that. I want something different. And it's so like my perspective has completely shifted, and I feel like most people that I know and I talk to, and most people out there, perspective has completely shifted on Ubisoft. And I can't really tell you where they went wrong or why they started making the decisions that they did, but there's just still a sliver inside of me from someone who has loved a lot of their games, and a lot of their games have meaningful places in like my overall scope of video games in general, that there's still a part of me, especially in Assassin's Creed, that holds out hope. The rest of it, I don't give a shit about. But all right, anything else you want to say? Anything you have? Maybe some insights? Do you have some insider information there, Logan, about Ubisoft? You're fly on the wall.
It's all gonna be horrible. There you go.
All right. Well, I don't think that's insider information. I think that's personal opinion. But
Oh, that's public information. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I forgot to look up the grander details of everything. All right. Let's move on now to number 2 on Around the Point, and that's Disney and Marvel's game showcase. And while I would like to sit here and say, guess what? We get to turn around and be positive. Me personally, I don't have a lot of positives to say. There are a couple things I wanted to shout out, but overall, I was massively disappointed with what this showcase had to offer. Not just in what was here and what was announced, but the way that they showed things and the way that they announced things. I understand this is their first go at it. This is their first try. So maybe there's some growing pains. I mean, state of plays have been bad before. But, well, not bad, disappointing. But, yeah, this just, outside of one or two things that got my attention, and even with one of the things that really got my attention, there's a confusing lack of information on it. But yeah, overall, this was, again, a lot of nothing. I'll run through it real quick when we talk about everything in detail or as much
You want to
detail.
give a review on it real quick on the
Oh,
showcase?
I guess we'll give a review on the Ubisoft showcase real quick. Out of 5, 3. No, I'll give the Assassin's Creed one a 3. I'll give the rest of it a 2.
Well, I didn't watch it, so I won't give an opinion
Okay.
on that.
Well,
But
this one I will
the Disney
give.
one, if you want to do that.
Yeah. I'll go right down the middle, 2.5. And I only give that half point for the Amy Hennig game, which had a confusing lack of information on. But the general idea and knowing who's behind it just has me excited at a core level there. But yeah, I thought a lot of this was a bunch of nothing, and the way they decided to show things and the way the showcase was put together was pretty bad in my opinion.
I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5
Damn.
because it was god awful. And
Really?
also, they did this stupid world premiere thing, like always, when literally 90% of the crap they showed already existed and has been shown plenty of times and is already out on, like, so it's like, ugh. We'll get into it, but yeah, it definitely deserves a 1 out of 5 for me. It's horrible.
All right, well, let's get into it. They started off with the world premiere of Tron Identity, a new visual novel adventure game coming from Bithell Games, who they made they made a game. It's actually just one guy. He made a game a while ago that I know people liked, so we'll see what that is. But again, a whole lot of nothing. 30-second trailer. Then they went into a new co-op Mickey Mouse game, Mickey Mouse and Friends game from called oh my god called Illusion Island, announced exclusively for the Nintendo Switch. It says Disney Illusion Island is a new 2D platformer starring Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy that is set to arrive exclusively on Nintendo Switch in 2023. They then went into a new Marvel AR game called Marvel World of Heroes. Actually, no, sorry, that came at the end. The order of this article is wrong. But they announced a new game from Niantic, the developers of Pokemon Go. Then we got a ridiculously limited look at Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, a quick gameplay overview. And then they confusingly spent more time on the new mobile MMORPG shooter from the Avatar universe called Reckoning. And that's definitely all what we wanted from the Avatar universe, was a mobile MMORPG shooter, and that they confusingly spent more time talking about than their AAA open world adventure game, Frontiers of Pandora. We got some new information on Return to Monkey Island with a new trailer. I'll continue to say this game looks great. I'm not going to play it, but it looks really good. We got a new announcement of Marvel Snap, the upcoming free-to-play collectible card game. Got a global release date on October 18th, coming exclusively to mobile and PCs around the world, where you get to play as over 150 Marvel heroes and villains. Excuse me, coming from the developers of Hearthstone. Hearthstone. I forgot how to say it. One of those two. Then we got a look at Aliens Dark Descent. This was a do nothing. We got the most exciting thing for me here is we're getting a Gargoyles remaster of the classic 90s platform. I can't fucking wait. I love Gargoyles. I do like the old school 2D platformers from the Disney games. We got an updated look at Disney's Dreamlight Valley, which you can play right now. Toy Story Realm will be coming shortly, launching in early access later this year. We got a new announcement for Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. A new character pack and a new edition of the game will be launching on November 1st. Disney's Speedstorm, the rival to Mario Kart, got new announcement and collaboration with Monsters. And I guess it's not really a collaboration because Disney owns them. But anyway, we got new information on characters from the Monsters Inc. universe, including a new track and Mike Wazowski playable. Disney's Mirrorverse got the Halloween season announced. This is their free-to-play action RPG exclusively on mobile devices. And finally, Marvel Strike Force got a new edition. They're adding Red Hulk, coming on September 13th. Another squad-based mobile RPG. And that was it. Just kidding. They they finally announced what Amy Hennig and the team at Skydance New Media has been working on, and it is, in my opinion, easily the most exciting thing to come out of that, even though we didn't even get a fucking name for the game. Don't know why they just couldn't give us a name, but it is confirmed to be a Captain America and Black Panther story set during World War II. And if this is like any other game that Amy Hennig has worked on, it is going to be a narrative-driven, single-player action adventure right up my alley. For those of you that don't know, Amy Hennig is the original creator of Uncharted and the Uncharted video game series, at least up into Uncharted 3. And then that was it. They rolled out. They said, "See you later. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you next time." So Logan, you did not like this thing. What did you like about this? And was there anything here that tickled your ballsack?
Well, I was expecting a little bit more, I don't know, good stuff. And what we got was a lot of just mediocre things we've already seen. A lot of mobile, a lot, just like Ubisoft, because everybody loves mobile games. Yay!
The people who make money love mobile games.
Yeah, exactly. Good for you, Disney. I hope you make a ton of money off of microtransactions. I don't really know much to say that I really liked. I mean, Return of Monkey Island, yeah, great. We already seen it. I also didn't expect to see this on here. I didn't know Monkey Island was a Disney thing, but I guess it is. Cool. Um, I think the only mobile game that I'm tempted to buy is maybe the Avatar one, but I don't know. Again, it's a mobile game, so I'll probably play it for. Well, I played it. It was a game.
I'm
Uh,
generally interested in Marvel Snap, not just because of, I do like card battle games and card collectible games, but knowing that it's coming from the creators of Hearthstone, which I dabbled in at launch a long time ago now at this point, probably over a decade ago. And I do know that it has a good core gameplay loop. So I might actually check that one out in October. It's something that I can play on break while I'm at work or whatever. And the fact that the average match time is like 3 minutes means I can get in, get out, experience it, and make progress however I see fit. That is the only mobile game focus that I think got my attention a little bit just based on the core idea of what the game is.
yeah. Yeah, that's like the only one. I mean, I actually have been trying. I'm gonna try Disney Dreamlight. I did watch my wife play some of it. It looked pretty fun. It's pretty much exactly one for one Animal Crossing. Like unlike most games where we say it's like Animal Crossing, it's pretty much almost exactly like it. Like it still does the same where it connects your time with real time. So when it's nighttime, it's actually nighttime in the game. When it's daytime, it's actually daytime in the game. It looked kind of fun. I will say they definitely need to update the last gen versions because it has a really big problem. Like I watched my wife played on the Xbox One X, which by the way is the most powerful of all the last gen consoles. Um, and for some reason, it has a weird thing where it'll start off the game and it's like the FPS drops to like 15, but then all of a sudden the game will just fix itself and it'll just jump up to 60 and stay there. I don't know why it does it. Like when I was watching her play, I'm like, this is bad. This is really bad. Then I left the room, came back, and it was actually running very well. So I was really confused. I was like, what happened? Like it just worked, just started fixing itself. So I actually am tempted to download it. It's on Game Pass, so I'll probably try it. And I like Animal Crossing, so I'll give it a try. I mean, it's Disney, and I like Disney characters, and they're going to be adding Toy Story, which I thought was pretty cool. So, and I like Toy Story a lot. So I'm going to give it a try, see how it is on the next gen console, see if it runs any better or if it has the same problem where something either with the CPU not able to handle all the stuff on screen at once. I don't know. I'm not, a supercomputer guy, so I think it's just kind of weird. Um, But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to still try that game out. Yeah, I mean, the Captain America game is cool, but it's just a cinematic, so and it didn't even have a title, so it honestly kind of looks like it. I either hope it's going to be just a story game that's fun, or is this just going to be another Avengers game where you have to get loot and you have to level up your character and get all the stupid gear. I don't know. They didn't really do much other than just show that cinematic, so I can't really be excited for it because all
I
we
can
seen was a cinematic.
I can almost guarantee you that it's not. Amy Hennig would not make a game like that. She doesn't. She doesn't care to make a game like that. You know what we knew from the Star Wars game, the canceled Star Wars game that she was working on was very much an Uncharted Star Wars game. And if that's what this game is, and an action adventure, maybe some more open area games set in a really interesting time zone with a new story, and you get to play as Captain America and Black Panther. I'm very excited by all that, but that is mostly coming from the fact that I understand who's making it and the history that she has and the importance that she has in the industry as a whole. But yeah, I was very confused and like they couldn't even give us a name for the game. Like how far off is this game if it's not even named yet? And if it's 3 to 4 years away, what's the point of talking about it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But another thing that really frustrates me at this showcase, certain game that I had to delete from my freaking list that now I'm gonna have to add right back. Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Oh yeah, I forgot to
The
talk about
game
that
that
one. I skipped over
literally
it.
that said it was gonna be delayed next year or whatever, I guess it was indefinitely, and then literally gets announced again. Oh, it's coming out like towards this year, December 2nd. And I bet you I'm gonna put this on my freaking list again, and it's gonna be delayed again. It's so frustrating, dude. Like I literally just got this game off my list, and then they bring it back and say it's coming out this year again. But it's only the next gen versions that are coming out this year. The last gen versions are coming out next year. So that's frustrating. I was like, I really kind of got a little upset about this. And this isn't about the score of it, but for our fantasy league, this frustrates me a lot because I really thought this game was going to come out this year, and then it did. So it is going to come out this year. Now they better not delay it again. But I'm going to use my please for everyone in my fantasy league. Don't add this to your list. I'm going to use my last hour to bring it back. Okay. So please don't try to stop me. I didn't know this was. Can we all agree with that? We should make a vote in the thing. But I didn't know this was going to happen. I mean, most games when they say they're delayed, they're delayed. They're not coming back until next year. So you cool with that, Mike?
Well, if I
Me
had
adding it with my
if I had the option of adding it to my list, I wouldn't blink once at attempting to screw you over because I'm a competitive person and that's what I do. But my list is full, so I can't do anything about it. The only person that could do something about it is DJ. So, we'll see if he wants to add it and he can beat you in the bid. Well, that's the way life works, sir. So good luck. Try to add it.
we're not gonna make a vote. We're just gonna. That's fair, I guess. I guess
No,
I'll try to add it. But yeah,
I mean I can bring it up to him, but
yeah.
yeah, I would just I would put all your money to it. Like, okay,
I
let
have
me.
$1.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. I have $1. So there's literally no way I can compete against $1.
Oh,
So
that's so good. Oh, I'm so interested. I'm gonna be watching this with open eyes and seeing what's because he's still got 3 games to add to his list. So,
I
um,
know.
hey, is this the game that I actually dropped for you?
Yes, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. You dropped it for me, and then it literally a couple days later, I feel like not a couple days later, but still, they come out and they're like, "Yeah, it's actually coming out this year." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's
Like
fucking
I
funny.
literally had it on my freaking list, and then it got taken out just to be put back in. Now I hope I can get it back in, but I guess whatever. If I don't, it's
That
not a big deal. I'll
that
find something else.
That's fucking funny, dude. I'm not gonna lie,
It
that's funny
is.
as hell. I'm laughing my ass off. Yeah, but I forgot to mention that in the wrap up. Speaking of that, I know you've talked about how you are excited slash interested in this game in a way. Did they show anything here that tickled your
I mean,
fancy
it
or
looks good.
okay?
I'm actually really excited for it. I like that it's card based. It actually seems interesting. A lot of people aren't liking that. I think it's kind of cool. Now, do I have to admit I don't care about the creating character person that you're gonna make, the hunter, quote unquote. It almost looks like they only have one kind of ability. Are we gonna be able to customize their ability and be a little bit more different and make your own kind of character, or are you just a baton wielding yada yada hero? Like I don't think I've really seen anything that said, "Oh, you can kind of make your own kind of hero out of this hunter." That would make things more interesting. If like we could choose a kind of power that we can have to make our own character, but it looks like everything I've seen has just been a baton wielding hero. That's it. Which makes me not really care about my character that I'm going to be creating because I don't really think that's the most exciting power of just someone that has batons in their hands and basically is Daredevil. I don't know. That's one thing I'm not excited about. I just don't think the character that you're creating isn't that exciting. As long as, I mean, again, I gotta look up, I gotta do some research on this. If you know something I don't, you can tell me, but
Oh, I
I have
don't.
no idea.
I haven't really been paying too much attention to it. I paid attention a little bit when I thought it came out that this was going to be a more action RPG and not this like RTS style. I don't know where I heard that from. I could have sworn there was a story that says, "Oh, it's not like XCOM. It's more like an action RPG or something like that." And that's clearly not what this is. But so I've kind of checked out. I don't care too much. I hope it scores great for whoever gets it on the fantasy league. But yeah, I don't. I haven't really looked into anything just because it's not really my genre. It's not really something that I want to play or probably will play. So, especially now the time it comes out, because guess what? Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna buy it day one. I have plenty of games I'm trying to buy the day one, like Call of Duty and God of War. Those are probably gonna be the last two games I buy for the entire year. Next year, I'll probably get this game. Maybe I'll wait till the reviews come out, see what they think, watch some gameplay, get my own thoughts on it, and then if I really like it and I'm really excited for it, in the end, I'll probably get it, or I'll just wait till it's on sale and buy it then. Um, but other than that, I mean, yeah, looks pretty cool. I think some things are interesting, but nothing entirely. Wow, I was like that weird. That thing is so weird. That Pokemon Go like game they're coming out with the Marvel's World of Heroes. Like what, man? I
Okay,
that
let
looks
me talk about something
weird.
real quick. I don't give a shit about Niantic or the Pokemon games. What I do care about is the structure of showcases and how these things are put together. Who on God's green earth over there at Disney and Marvel Games thought it was a good idea to end the showcase with that instead of
I
the
know.
Emmy Henny game? Like they showed the Emmy Henny game, which again it's weird as hell that they didn't put a name on it or anything like that. But and then they're like, "Oh, let's end with this game, the game that everybody's super excited for, the Marvel Heroes game made by the people behind Pokemon Go." It's like, yeah, I think those two things probably should have been switched, but that's a more again showcase setup and the actual production behind the show than I care about any of the actual game itself. I just was like, why make that decision? Like, if I'm putting this thing together, you're damn straight I'm ending with what is arguably the most exciting game or the exciting prospect of a game in your entire repertoire. But that's all I got.
Yeah, I agree. I also just think the guy was way too excited about some of these things. Like, he's like, "Wow, man, this thing looks so great! Aren't you just so excited?" No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not excited at all.
Well, that's his job.
um,
Like, he's hosting the thing. He
I
can't
know
go
it's
on
his
there and be
job. He
like,
gets paid to do it, but
wow,
it's just
that
so
game.
funny because like he was so hyped,
Yeah,
like, and
well,
it
that's his
wasn't
job.
that hype.
That, if you don't know, is Blessing Adeoye Jr. from Kind of Funny fame. He is one of the hosts of PS I Love You XOXO, the PlayStation exclusive episode over there. Kind of Funny. I do enjoy the show. But yeah, I mean that's his job. They can't show a game and then him come on screen. He goes, "Well, that looks like shit, don't it? Let's go on to the next one."
Yeah,
That's
I know.
I feel like he would get fired for that.
Oh no, I'm not like hating him. I just think it's really funny because like it's just like all these games were not that exciting that you made
Yeah.
it like, and I know it was him. He got paid to do it. It's his job, so clearly he has to hype it up. The only other game that like I'm not like really excited for, really pumped for or anything, but the Disney Mario Kart, basically the Disney Speed Storm.
Yeah, stupid
Um,
name.
yeah, it's a really really dumb name. I don't really see how that connects with go karting. But other than that, I mean, looks kind of cool, I guess. Am I ever gonna get day one? Is it gonna? It's probably one of those games I wait a long time to get, if even I ever want to get it. But I'll keep my eye on it. I mean, again, I like Disney characters. I think it'd be kind of cool as long as they make the tracks really good and they add some really cool. Like, I didn't really watch this gameplay. I kind of checked out this point because most of it was mobile game, mobile game, mobile game, mobile game, and then they showed this, and I'm like, I was already completely checked out at this point, so I didn't really pay attention to this trailer at all. Um, but I mean, if they make it really, really good and they put a lot of effort into it and make it, a go kart game with really cool tracks from like the movies and everything, and really, really cool power ups and everything, um, I might be willing to give it a try. I didn't know if this was a game you could buy or is it going to be another free to play game. Kind of hope it's a game you could just buy because then I know that it's probably going to be at least pretty good, not garbage. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But what else?
I'm
I think that's
looking
pretty much it.
I'm looking it
So,
up real quick. It does say free to play.
well, my faith has went down to almost none at this point for this game. Then
There are
I
there are some decent free to play games, my man. You got to be open a little bit to the stuff like that. Be critical if the game sucks and the free to play aspects suck, but like there are some free to play games that are
Yeah, but then I
decent.
know that these unlocks for this game is probably gonna be only you can only buy it to unlock it. I feel like that's exactly what they're gonna go and do.
Yeah.
And that's where it's gonna, and then also they get the free pass now of basically making less content because it's free to play. And that's where I get annoyed because like I don't like, as much as I like multiverses, they get that free pass because it's a free to play game that they don't have to have as much content as a paid game would be. And that's where I just don't really, that's where all free to play games, in my opinion, have problems. Even mobile games, especially, they are the biggest offenders. They can literally do jack squat and get away with it because it's a free to play game. And everyone's like, well, it's free. Well, just because it's free doesn't mean it needs to be hot garbage and we just accept it. Like, I know we're not paying for it, but that doesn't mean like we can't say it's a bad game because like it's free to play doesn't mean jack squat. It's called freemium. It's not free to play.
Yeah.
Freemium. You have to still have to buy stuff. They don't say you do, but you do if you want stuff. And this is, I bet you there's gonna be like two tracks that come out with this game when it comes out, and everyone's gonna be like, well, it's free. Well, I don't care. I'd rather a full-fledged cart game that comes out where they actually put effort into it. And I know they're not going to put as much effort into this because it's free to play. So I already have kind of checked out now that you told me that. I was kind of excited because I thought it'd be kind of cool, but not really anymore. So yeah, that sucks. Another
Uh,
disappointment.
all right. Well, let's keep it going, keep it moving here. We're getting a little long-winded on some of these things.
Yeah.
The next showcase, well, I guess yes, it's a showcase. A new Night City Wire was released this week to the public, and we got to see the future of Cyberpunk 2077. Saw a little bit of the new TV show, which continues to look fantastic, and I can't wait. Coming out in a week, I think, pretty quickly. Uh, don't exactly remember. Then we got an update on what's in the new update for the game, 1.6 patch, which before I get into the good part, I will have to say, they said, let's see what's coming to the patch, and I could not discern any individual thing that was actually coming to the patch. They didn't say anything about it. They just showed
Oh,
a
I
trailer.
know. That
And,
entire
and,
section was
and
literally just a trailer. Show anything. They didn't tell us anything.
like
I
it got
know.
done, and like I was fully expecting like, oh, here's a splash screen of the different stuff you can do, the new outfit and everything, the new guns, but no, it was just a trailer, and I was like, what the fuck's coming? I was so confused. A little bit of disappointment though. No new game plus. Obviously, there's the transmog system. I saw some videos outside of the showcase that show that off. It seems to work really, really well. So, but then the big thing, the only thing I really want to talk about, and there's not much to say here, but they did finally announce the new DLC coming. I guess technically it's an expansion called Phantom Liberty. Not a whole lot of details here, but it will come out in 2023, and it will be the only major expansion. But it says Phantom Liberty sees the return of Keanu Reeves as Johnny Silverhand, and it seems to have some sort of story dealing with V and Johnny Silverhand making a oath and swearing allegiance to the new United States of America. A quote from the game director says, "We're having a lot of fun with the expansion. It's a new style of plot, a new cast of characters, and will expand on a district in Night City where it primarily takes place." No announcement on the definitive release date, but it will come out sometime next year. Interesting fact, exclusively for the PS5, Xbox Series of consoles, and the PC, and also Stadia, but no one cares. To go along with this, we did get news that it is official. CD Projekt Red is ending any development or support for the last generation of consoles. So PS4, Xbox One, and anything. I guess those are the only things. But yeah, so no more on this. The DLC will not be coming to those consoles. A decision that is arguably 2 to 3 years too late, but they finally made the decision, the one that should have been made at launch, but it wasn't. So yeah, what do you think about some of the stuff that they announced here? The show looks great in my opinion. I can't wait to play the expansion. I really enjoyed Cyberpunk 2077 for what it was. All complaints included. But yeah, I can't wait for this. Looked really interesting. Looked very pretty, like the original game. And I'm excited to just get more characters and be able to exist in a world that I really, really like some more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited to get back into it, and actually play some more Cyberpunk 2077. I do have sad news. I don't think New Game Plus is ever coming because I'm pretty sure I read a thing about one of the directors saying that New Game Plus does not work well with the game or something like that. I don't have the exact quote right now, but they basically said that basically it won't work for the style of game it is, which I think honestly is just a big load of bullshit. But whatever. You could clearly easily probably just add New Game Plus. I don't think it's that difficult of a thing to do. And you literally just start the game, you move all your stuff over to your character from the start of the game. I feel like a modder could probably make this in a day. But whatever makes it easier for you. I mean, I guess maybe they just think that they would be forced to add more stuff for a New Game Plus when I mean, all they really got to do is just make it to where you can, start the game with your stuff again and just go through it again. Like, I feel like it's pretty simple. You don't have to go too crazy with New Game Plus. I mean, yes, it would be nice to see a New Game Plus with more stuff, like maybe additional levels that you can level up and add more things. That would be kind of cool. But I mean, if it's really going to be that difficult, why don't just give us New Game Plus and just let us have our stuff again and then let us play through the game again? I don't think it's really that crazy difficult, but I mean, I guess maybe I'm not seeing something here. I feel like it's a modder again. They just, which by the way, a side thing they actually added mod support for PC finally. There already was modding, but now they actually gave modding tools to people. So you'll probably be seeing a lot more modding stuff now for PC and everything, which is cool. That's really exciting news, actually. But yeah, I was kind of sad not to see New Game Plus. Everything else though, all the new stuff update looks really good. I actually read all the stuff, seen all the new things. It basically added a lot of Edge Runner stuff. Transmog, I actually started up the game and played it again. Transmog works very well. It's really cool. They did a whole kind of system where you can make outfits. So like when you get stuff, you can make outfits, save it, and there's like 6 different slots. And I guess when you there's a couple questions I have. I didn't really get to test it. I don't know if it's like if you get the stuff like the gear and you put it as an outfit, can you get rid of that gear item now, or do you have to stick with that gear item in order to have that outfit?
No,
That's something I didn't look at.
so the way it works is when you set up your outfit, you set up the way you want to look, and then with that outfit equipped, you can go into your actual inventory and equip anything you want, and it won't change the way you look. So,
No, I know that, but I mean,
oh,
like, can you delete that item or sell that item that you made into, or you have to always have that item on you at all times?
oh, that one I have no clue.
That's where I didn't test it, so I don't know about that. But I will say Transmog works. It looks great. It's really cool. I was actually able to put it together an outfit real quick just to test it out. Looks great. Looks cool. Supposedly they updated some other little things, like they updated the dynamic resolution a little bit better now. So I guess if you can really pinpoint the difference, you can. I guess for the Series S people, great news. They actually added a 60 FPS update. So now if you have the Xbox Series S, you can play at 60 FPS now. I mean, it is like 900p, but if you want 60 FPS, you can now play 60 FPS. So that's exciting news for the people for Series S. But yeah, they added a lot of new stuff. They added like 3 more side quests to the game. Each one of them can give you like new weapons, and I've seen some of the new weapons people were showcasing, and they look really fucking cool. Like really, really cool. Again, Cyberpunk, you nailed the weapon design in this game. Like some of them are really freaking cool looking. So yeah, some of the new stuff they added was really cool. They added a lot of the Edge Runner stuff, so you can go like when you explore the city now, you might find some Edge Runner stuff like clothing, weapons, and etc. But yeah, I'm most importantly, the biggest excitement is I'm very excited for Phantom Liberty. I can't wait to when it comes out. I'm definitely going to get on and play the entire DLC through, and be sad that that'll be the end of Cyberpunk 2077 because that's going to be the only planned DLC to ever come out, and it kind of sucks. But I mean, it is what it is. They came out with a shitty launch, kind of ruined themselves, and it's not really their fault. It's a corporate fault, but whatever. I hope that they don't give up on Cyberpunk completely because I think hopefully they would learn from this experience and move on and actually make another one or get another chance to make another one because I think Cyberpunk 2077, if they were truthful about everything, this game is really good in most ways. Like I like the story, I like the combat, I like the leveling up, I like the world that they built. It's just that there's not really a lot in the world that makes it disappointing to me. But I really liked it nonetheless. I mean, I put 80 hours into the game and I even started a new game and started playing it again. So I'm very excited for this DLC. I can't wait. It's good update no matter what, even if it didn't add a ton, it's still pretty cool. I just hope that Phantom Liberty is a very good story DLC and they really go all out in it.
Speaking of what what CD Projekt Red is doing next, we got some new news and some updated news. We'll run through this real quick on The Witcher. Two things here I want to talk about just real quick. They have announced that The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition next gen version is apparently still planned for 2022. No release date yet. We're running out of time. But Logan and I are both waiting for that. Can't wait. We will jump in and play that when it comes out. But then also there was an interview being done with some people over at CD Projekt Red where they revealed not any significant news or anything, but they have detailed the plans moving forward with The Witcher. And it says The Witcher 4 will be the start of a new saga for the video game series being run on Unreal Engine 5, which is not new news. We already knew that. But he says, the CEO, Adam Kitschniski, I think that's how you say that. He said, we said that there will be a new saga. Of course, now we are pre-producing the first game of this saga, but we have in mind more than one. The first saga was 3 games, so now we're thinking about more than one game, but we are still in pre-production on the first game from the second Witcher saga. So, nothing new. We already got news that the new saga will include a new school in the Witcher series, known as the School of the Lynx. Man, I'm having issues today. So I wanted to get your opinion on anything that you thought here. I'm very excited for what comes next. Yeah, CD Projekt Red kind of screwed the pooch with the launch of Cyberpunk 2077, but I still think that they made a really good game. It just wasn't the game that they said they were going to make. But outside of all that, moving forward, I still have faith and hope of what they're doing next. and I can't wait. So, what do you think about all this, man?
Um, I mean, yeah, I really do hope the Witcher 3 next gen update does actually come out this year. I mean, they have said, yeah, as you said, it's truthful. So I'm hoping they announce it sometime soon, hopefully. I mean, it is almost October. We're getting pretty close towards the end of the year, so I'm hoping we really start to get an update on that because I actually plan on when that next gen update comes out, just like The Last of Us, I am going to play and beat Witcher 3, and I promised that. So I'm going to do it. Whenever it comes out, I plan on beating it. Other than, well, it actually depends when it comes out because it's going to be kind of difficult because it's probably going to come out either around, I mean, time towards either October or November, maybe early December. And there's a lot of games coming
Yeah,
out.
I was say
So
at this point, it seems like when it does come out, I'm not going to be able to play it at the time of launch, just because we will be so busy with everything happening. But it's definitely a game I'll keep in my back pocket for next year's summer when we have a lull in the video games. But yeah, I can't wait. I love The Witcher 3. It's, you said, one of my favorite games ever made, and yep, I'm excited to dig back into it. So. What do you think about Witcher 4 and what that could entail?
I just hope they learn from the mistakes with Cyberpunk 2077 and they make a game. I really feel like they're going to have a little bit more easier time with Witcher 4 because I feel like it's a different kind of beast compared to Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was a lot more, I would say, more ambitious than what The Witcher is because the thing is, like, with Witcher, they can kind of get away with certain things because it's not as I would say as deep or as, like there's just a lot more going on in a futuristic city than there is in a medieval fantasy, world. Um, but I really hope they I don't know. I just hope it's really, really good. I mean, Witcher 3 from the bit I played, I mean, I played a good bit of it and then I got it again and then got through a little bit of it and then never ended up getting all the way through it. Which doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's just a lot of there's a lot of games coming out and I kind of pushed myself off like a lot of games. Um, I think Witcher 3 obviously for most people is one of the best open world RPG games out there and I feel like they're gonna get it right. Hopefully, I feel like there's no way they could really overhype it at this point. So I feel like they're gonna do a good job. I really have faith in them. I hope they do a better job. I hope they learn again from this mistakes. I hope they nail it. And I'm really excited to see what a Witcher 3 or sorry, a Witcher 4, especially with this new Unreal Engine 5, which I'm still waiting to see a game come out with Unreal Engine 5. I'm still waiting on that. I want to see a game running in Unreal Engine 5, a full-blown, full-fledged game running in Unreal Engine 5. So, I hope it's really good though. I really do. And it'd be kind of cool to see a different story, other than Geralt's. So,
All right, we got a couple small stories here left. Let's run through these. Just a little bit of updates for our audience out there and letting them know. Number five. Number five on Around the Point. The long-awaited PS5 update has arrived, and here's what's in it. The big one: support for 1440p resolution. You also get game libraries, game list folders, essentially folders. If that's something that people are excited for, you can go on there and do it. We also got a pretty big update to the way that the card system works and how you're connected to it. A lot of new stuff with communities and make the Sony making it easier to play games with your friends and interact with your friends. Um, and then finally, the 3D audio features and functionality has been updated in a way to where you can actually switch back and forth immediately between the two, so you can hear the true difference that 3D audio makes compared to regular stereo update. So this is an update that a lot of us have been waiting for. It's a pretty exciting update. I dug into some of it. I was messing around with some of the updates. Obviously, I didn't switch to 1440p because I have a 4K screen, so I don't need that. But for those of you out there that are on monitors and all that, that PC is mostly run by 1440p monitors. That is the sweet spot. So for those of you out there that can take advantage of that, I know they're very excited. And then plus on top of that, there is back-end stuff that if you are running the game at 1440p, the game will how do I want to phrase this and not sound stupid? The game will run at 4K and then downsize it or downframe it to 1440p, so you will be getting an even cleaner image on that. So I don't know how much you want to say. Just want to let the people know out there that this update finally went live this week. And it's a pretty good update. It's a pretty big update. And it seems like this is just something that took way too long to come out. But it's good that it's finally here. So
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting news. It did, yeah, it's kind of insane that it took this long, but it's whatever. It's exciting news nonetheless. It's a good thing. It's a positive thing. It's out there. It's more options for the player. Um, I think the biggest bonus for this is like there's a lot of games that run at 120 that don't run at 4K and they run closer to 1440p usually most of the time. So I think it's positive that you can now switch it over to a 1440p resolution, and obviously for most people that are going to be playing 120 on probably consoles, probably most likely are using a monitor. So because buying a 120 frame TV is kind of insane. They're insanely expensive. I think the cheapest one you can get right now is the new TCL Series 5 120 hertz one with a QLED display, which is something I kind of want to get, but it still costs a lot. I think it's like $400-500, which doesn't sound like a lot, but still kind of a lot of money. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing nonetheless because again, yeah, most games will not even run at 4K at 120 anyways. So 1440p is always a nice middle ground between 1080 and 4K. So yeah, really exciting. I didn't get to mess with the grouping thing. I didn't really mess with that. I almost forgot that was a thing. I did mess with the stereo and 3D thing. I mean, all of this is just a comparison thing, but I messed with it just because I was curious. And yeah, it's a huge difference. So I mean, that's kind of not a surprise, but if you want to hear it, you could try it now. That's kind of cool.
one
Other
thing
than
I
that,
forgot to
yeah,
point
pretty
out
cool.
in What You've Been Doing, the 3D audio with The Last of Us Part 1 is fucking incredible. Dude, it's
Yeah,
mind-boggling
I agree. I agree with you on that.
when you
Yeah.
have some headsets, when you have a good pair of headset on that 3D audio enabled, and there's clickers coming from all different directions, and you can exactly pinpoint where those clickers are in comparison to yourself. It's not only horrifying and stress-inducing, but it's also really good from a gameplay design perspective to give the player as much information as can possibly be given to them outside of the visual representation of what's going on. That's all I had.
Yeah, I actually surprisingly for how much of a scaredy cat I am for most scary games, I actually did play most of the game with headset on, and I 100% agree. It was like really freaking good. The 3D audio in this game, you could definitely tell where everything was when everything was happening, and there was a few time where people tried to catch me off guard, the human AI, and I would hear their footsteps like right behind me, and I would do a quick turnaround and get them. Yeah, it was really good. Also insanely scary because yeah, again, every time you're in those scenes where you're trying to sneak past a bunch of clickers, it's pretty horrifying because it's like it sounds like it's literally right there, and yeah, it's very stress inducing, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, switching over to the old Xbox Microsoft side of things, they have come out and announced a new Elite controller called Series 2 Core. This is a pared down version of their Elite Series 2 controller. And okay, what do I want to say? It's a two-tone controller. Looks really cool in my opinion. Comes in at $50 cheaper than the original Series 2 controller. Some of the things you're losing with that discounted price is the inclusion of a carrying case, the back paddles, an extra thumbstick, and a standard D-pad. So I don't really know what to
Wait, I thought it
think.
had back paddles on it.
It does not.
I could have sworn that's why I seen them. What?
Okay, maybe it
Why do I
does,
have a
but it
video of
doesn't
them
come
showing
with
the back paddles?
extra back paddles, I guess.
I'll have to look this up. I could have sworn I seen that had the 4 on the back.
Oh,
I'll have to look it up.
I still think it does have the 4. It just doesn't come with any switching or anything like that. Like you can't switch out the D-pad, or anything like that. I don't really know. I was gonna say I don't have really anything too much to say, but I wanted to see what you thought about this. I know there was a lot of people out there that thought you were losing too much for just a $50 discount. And I don't really have a horse in the race. I don't have too much to say about the comparison between the two and whether it's worth $130 or not. I don't really know, so that's what I was gonna just like immediately turn it over to you after I introduced it and see what you had to say about it all.
I really need to look this up because I'm really confused now. Because I could have sworn when I watched, I'm like, oh, that's not bad. Like it's a big discount. I mean, I didn't know what you were alluding because the trailer didn't really specify it. But now seeing this, I mean, I would hope they aren't getting rid of the back paddles. I mean, that's the whole dang point of the Elite controller is to have the back paddles. Um, I'll have to look that up. But like I understand that you're probably losing the carrying case in that, which I honestly don't think is a huge deal. Like I like the carrying case. Clearly, I mean I got the actual one and I think the carrying case is really nice. I like the wireless charger too that comes with it. Um but man, if it's really taking out the back paddles, that's not worth it. Like that's the whole freaking point of the controller. Like that's why you buy these. Like you buy it for the trigger tension thing, which is really great. You buy it, it's a for basically shooters. So if you don't have the back paddles, then what's the point of this? I need to look at this trailer because I could have sworn the trailer
No,
they
like
showed.
I said, I think it does come with the back paddles. It just doesn't have like changeable back paddles or anything like that. Like it doesn't come with a new set. It doesn't come with any additional thumbsticks like the original series does. It doesn't come with the carrying slash charging case. You can't replace the D-pad. I think those are the big takeaways that Xbox made. And again, I am not saying anything whether good or bad. I have no really horse in the race or anything to go off of. All I know is I did see a lot of people reacting that says they took away too much to still be charging $130. But again, I don't know.
Okay, so you might be right. It might not actually be coming with it, but yet in the trailer they really should have specified that because it shows at the very end, like towards the end of it, it shows like it switched the controller around with the 4 things, but if that really is true, that's not worth it. Like the whole damn point. Buy it. So how do you buy those paddles? You have to buy it separately or something?
Yeah,
Like
they
that's
did
kind of weird.
say in a press release that while it does not come with it, you can buy what they call the complete component pack, which includes the carrying case, charging dock, additional thumbsticks, and USB-C controller. Sorry, USB-C cable and a standard D-pad for $59.99. So,
Well, I
uh,
guess it's not too bad again. Like I
but then
actually had to buy
if you think about it, if you buy the controller and the component pack, you're spending $10 more than if you just got a Series Elite 2. I don't know. Seems a little
well, no,
weird.
no, what I meant was like I again, if you really want the case and all, clearly go buy the Elite 2 controller pack. But actually surprisingly, it's actually a really good deal as long as you know where to buy the components. You could just go on Amazon, and actually recently I had to. So one of the smaller bumpers that came with my Elite controller started to wear out a little bit. It was kind of frustrating, and I went on Amazon, and they have like the components really cheap, and they're actually really good. Like I bought one of the mini paddles for like $5, and it came with 4 of them, and it works very well. So if you really wanted to, you could get this controller and go on Amazon, just buy the freaking paddles, which is a lot cheaper, by the way. And that's not a bad price, but it is still dumb. They should have just came with like a maybe boosted up by a couple more dollars and just came with the paddles, and then not get the carrying case and all that. Which I understand that's a pretty big discount. But if you really care about all the carrying case and the wireless charger and everything, then yeah, buy just the Elite 2 controller together with all the components. I guess you're not getting any of the components too. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really use any of the. I use the same. Well, sometimes I'll change out to one of them, but I usually keep the same thumbsticks on there. I make sure to have the nice circle D-pad on there, and then I have the paddles on it. I don't really use the freaking trigger or the analog stick tension thing. I don't really ever use that. I tried to use it once, and it just made things worse, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm kind of iffy on it. I think it's a good price if you just care about the triggers and you don't care about the paddles on the back. I think it's actually a really good price. You don't really need everything else if you don't, again, care about all the components. I don't know if it comes with the circle D-pad or if it just has the normal basic D-pad on it.
Oh
I
no, so
prefer.
it comes with the circle D-pad, but you're not allowed to. I guess you are allowed, but it doesn't come with the other standard D-pad.
Oh, I prefer the circle D-pad anyway, so I don't really care about the other one. But yeah, I mean, if you don't care about a lot of stuff, it's not a bad price. But I think again, the paddle should have came with it. Should have. That's kind of the whole point of the Elite controller. But whatever, Xbox or Microsoft makes some weird decisions sometimes. So yeah, I mean, find your worth with it. I think it's a pretty good price, but the paddles is kind of honestly the biggest thing that I don't agree with. I think it should have came with the paddles. If everything else can come with it, I get it. But the fact that it doesn't come with the paddles, I feel like is a pretty bad thing to do. So
Yeah, it seems a little expensive considering right now. I mean, granted, it's on discount. You can get the Elite 2 for $154.99, so we're only talking about $25 more than what this is. It seems like to me, it seems like kind of a no-brainer to just get the Series 2 instead of this. But again, no horse in the race, don't really care. But I do know there was quite a few people that weren't exactly happy with what they showed off here. But all right, let's keep it going, keep it moving. The next story, episode 7, story number 7. We got a little bit more details on what the major stories of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are going to be while you're playing through the game. If you didn't know, we've been a slow leak of information on the upcoming Pokemon entries, newest entries in the franchises, and one of the new things revealed where there will be separate storylines that you are able to play through. Excuse me. Those being the 3 quest lines are grouped into a single prompt. You'll be attending a school in the new Paldera region and have been handed a special independent study project with a theme, a treasure hunt. It says you can find that treasure through 3 different quest lines, which can be taken on in any order. Victory Road is the most familiar of the 3, challenging you to defeat the leaders of the 8 Pokemon gyms and then pass the champion assessment at Pokemon League headquarters. It says, however, you will also need to complete unique gym tests to get through those battles. The one that is shown off in the trailer includes collecting some flora hidden around the area. It says Starfall Street. The second story is Scarlet and Violet's space to introduce a villainous group, in this case Team Star, made up of rebellious students from your school. Each squad is led by its own boss, each with their own base scattered across the Paldea region. You'll be heading into bases where Team Star will send a relentless barrage of Pokemon to get in your way, asking you to defeat a set number within a time limit. Complete that, and you'll need to take on a boss riding their own custom Starmobile, which needs to be defeated alongside their squads of Pokemon. And finally, the third story strand is the Path of the Legends, a story set around collecting Herba Mystica, which is apparently a rare ingredient which is said to immediately restore health once eating. You'll be accompanying a new character, Arvin, to collect the Herba and battling the Titan Pokemon that guard them. In the trailer, we meet Cloth, an enormous crab-like Pokemon. As always, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is set to launch on November 18th, bringing full 4-player co-op multiplayer into the series, among several other brand new features, including the fully open world open world game, rideable legendaries, and the new, stupidly named terrestrializing mechanic. Alright, so what do you think here? Logan, a little bit more info on the storylines. I think these are all pretty easily guessed. They're essentially splitting apart what was always in Pokemon games and making them their own individual quest lines, whether they'll be more detailed with more stories, hopefully. But yeah, I think this is pretty easy to guess. We predicted this when they first announced the existence of the 3 storylines. DJ and I think you were right with us, predicted exactly what these were going to be and entail. So, what do you think about all this?
pretty cool. Again, like this Pokemon game looks really really good. I really like that they're bringing again the changes from Arceus, except for one thing, which I don't think is a big deal in my opinion. Um, and yeah, no, I'm really excited for this. I'm not as deep into Pokemon as you and DJ, but I'm still very, very excited for this actually. And I know you don't care about the co-op, but I think it'd be kind of cool. And maybe me and Amy will at least play the co-op together, and that'd be kind of cool
No,
to
no, no, no,
see.
no. Okay.
Co-op would be kind of cool.
Take it
So
back. I'm excited about the existence of the co-op and the idea that I can play with you guys. That I'm all excited. My thing is, it's Nintendo Online, and I'm not confident that it's going to work very well because it usually doesn't. That's just what I'm saying. Especially in a massive game like this, it works.
that's fair.
It works fine for like Mario Party where things are very limited in terms of what you're doing, but in a massive open world game like this is showing it's going to be, I don't know how well it's going to run just on the Switch itself, let alone when you start adding in the online functionality and everything like that. That is what I'm worried about. The idea that I get to run around and play these games with you, with DJ. DJ and I already talked about it. We are definitely going to do that. That's why he's getting Violet and I'm getting Scarlet, so we can trade the exclusives across and then have access to everything that both games have to offer. So that I'm all on board with. But it's the idea of Nintendo's online and how well it's worked and hasn't worked in the past. Is that's the only thing I've ever been like, who knows on.
That's actually a good question I have not thought about. Can you play co-op if you have one game and the other?
Yes, they're
Is
the
that
same game other
okay?
than like the version exclusive things that we've always seen in Pokemon. So
So if you play co-op with your friend doing a campaign, does that mean you could play the campaign of the other game with your friend, or are they going to be playing the campaign? Are That's confusing. So can they play your campaign then, or can they not play your campaign?
well, the campaigns are going to be the
I
same.
don't. It's just different Pokemon.
Well, yeah, that's what the version exclusives have always
Oh,
been.
it's so stupid. It's
I
so
mean,
dumb. But
that's just what it
whatever.
has been. There's different Pokemon that comes with each one. The mentors are different in each game, and then obviously you have the two different box legendaries. That's what Pokemon versions have always been. They've never changed the core gameplay or the core actual what you're doing in the game. So yeah, you just choose one. I've never thought it was smart for people to buy both versions. Like it's just dumb. You're getting the same game twice, just with four or five different things here and there.
That's
And
fair.
and like
Well,
the visuals of each are going to be slightly modified, not in terms of like quality. I'm talking about like Scarlet is more old worldy, where Violet is a more futuristic visual style in terms of like the characters and just like assets, I guess is what I'm trying to say. From what I can gather. But who the hell knows? Maybe I'm completely fucking wrong.
that's fair. Well, that's a good thing at least. I guess I'll have to figure out which one I like the Pokemon more of when I do get it. I do plan on getting it. I don't know if I'm gonna get it day one, but I would like to, especially if I could play co-op with people. I think that's really, really cool. I mean, that's not the only reason I'm gonna get it, but the fact that you can play co-op is kind of a big deal. I'm kind of excited for that. I hope it does work well, but I mean, yeah, you're right. It's Nintendo. They don't seem to know how to actually make online work very well with most games, other than a few. Um, but yeah, I mean, this game really has me kind of excited. This is like the first Pokemon game where I'm like, other than Arceus, I'm actually really excited for because again, they're bringing a lot of the Arceus things in, but they're doing the things that I mean, not only that you said that you'd prefer, but I even said that I kind of think would make Arceus even better is if they was just a normal Pokemon game, but with all the stuff that's in Arceus, and that's pretty much what it is. So I'm very excited for that, and the add a little spice to it. They had co-op, and that's even more exciting for me. So I think it's going to be really cool. I hope it's really fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it.
All right, let's move on to a couple of the new games that got announced this week. The final thing on Around the Point, number 8, is two new games got announced and showed off outside of obviously everything we've already talked about in the showcases. Uh, I pretty much added one for both of us here. So the first one, Firewall Ultra, the sequel sequel to Firewall Zero Hour has been confirmed for PlayStation VR 2. I don't know if you know anything about this game, but it's actually a pretty big game for PlayStation VR. There's a lot of people that play it. It's in its 10th season right now on the original PlayStation VR. So, pretty big game with, well, I guess not big in the grand scope of things. Like, we're not talking Call of Duty or Elden Ring here. But it's got a pretty dedicated fan base and a pretty good developer that knows what they're doing with making these kind of first-person VR games. So, that is coming to PSVR 2 sometime in early 2023, probably with the release of the system itself. And then a new announcement from EA that they are working on a campaign-focused Battlefield game led by Halo's co-creator. This game is being made at Ridgeline Games, and says obviously they are focusing on a narrative campaign in the Battlefield universe. The game director and studio head says it is a great honor to have the opportunity to collaborate with DICE and Ripple Effect, I don't know who that is, to lead the charge on expanding the narrative, storytelling, and character development opportunities in the Battlefield series. He says we continue to invest in the future of the franchise by bringing in new talent and perspectives. With Marcus and his team at Ridgeline Games joining the world-class global team we have already in place, Battlefield. I want you to get your opinion on this next sentence. Battlefield is in the strongest position to succeed we've seen yet. I will say this outside of that final sentence, which is something we can make fun of, this whole thing is pretty exciting for me. A narrative campaign focus in the Battlefield universe. That's what I've always liked. That's what I enjoy. So that information is exciting, especially by the people that are behind it. That sentence at the very end made me laugh. So what do you think about these two announcements? And then we'll go ahead and get on out of here.
Can't say I really know much about Firewall. So I don't know if I should really be excited for that. Maybe for you. I don't know. I don't really know much about it. But I mean, I guess you know. I mean, I don't know why. I guess they're just making a campaign for Battlefield. I guess it'll be good. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's an ex-Halo creator, but everyone always says they're part of something. Who knows where he was, what part of the creation of Halo he was in. I am kind of wary on it. I also don't really care that much. I don't even know what kind of they're just going to make it about 2042 and how it came down. How good is it going to be? I have no idea. So I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? One thing before we go on out to the wrap ups and everything, I forgot. It popped in my head. One thing that Ubisoft announced also in the showcase was a new documentary on the creation of the Assassin's Creed universe and franchise as a whole. And I love video game documentaries. I watch them as much as I possibly can. So I'm excited to dig into that and kind of see some of the backgrounds. But other than that, I think that's all we got for you in terms of news. Anything else you want to say, sir?
I don't think so. No.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Around the Point. Let us know what you thought about some of the things we talked about. What do you think about these showcases? I was very excited for them, and I was very let down by them. So I don't love being negative on the show, but sometimes we kind of have to be. So let us know out there what you guys thought of everything. Are you excited about some of the mobile games coming to a iPhone or Android device closest to you? And we will interact and be a part of the conversation as much as we can. As always, now we go to the review roundup for this following week. This is where we go through the scores on OpenCritic that the games that you love got. Disney's Dreamlight Valley came out and got an 81. Circus Electric came out and got a 76. This one's interesting. Kaichu, the Kaiju dating sim, got a 58. 9 Noir Lives got a 72. Steel Rising came out and got a 72. Splatoon 3 got an 83. And for some reason, there's no reviews out for NBA 2K23 yet, so I'll report back on that next week. But I did want to update those listeners out there on the most important storyline so far in 2022. Made in Abyss Binary Star Falling into Darkness, the updated score, it has risen from the dead and achieved a 55 now on OpenCritic, so it is no longer a part of one of the worst games ever made this year. Oh, sorry, one of the worst games made this year. It has risen from the darkness and achieved absolute mediocrity. So, update on the storyline following through last year. A game that I know a lot of people out there are really, really excited for and following along with. Logan, what do you think about any of these?
Great to see that that Made in Abyss binary star falling in the darkness isn't as bad as it could have been, I guess. Woo, 55. Other than that, I'm excited to see that Splatoon 3 got, a decent score. I hoped it scored better, but, it pretty much scored just about the same as Splatoon 2, maybe even a little worse, which I think is weird because a lot of people say this is the best it's ever been, but yet it scored less than Splatoon 2, I believe. Don't understand that, but whatever. Definitely the best one yet, but yet less score. Um, and yeah, I mean, wish it scored better. Other than that, Disney Dreamlight Valley. That's kind of a surprise though for 81. I mean, again, I think it's a pretty cool game. It's definitely literally just Animal Crossing. I mean, again, I watched my wife Amy play it for a little bit, and I mean, it looks kind of fun. I mean, it's basically if you like Animal Crossing and you like Disney, this is literally exactly that. Pretty much, you get a lot of the characters in that. You get little side quests to do for all your villagers, but they're not villagers, they're just the Disney characters. And you can like basically explore and bring your Disney characters to your village, or as they call it, Dreamlight Valley. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I think it's a good game and I hope it does well and it keeps getting updates and it keeps growing. I know it's technically a free to play game, so I mean, right now it's not free, but it is going to become free to play after its official release. It's in beta form right now, so yeah, I mean, it's cool right now. Again, uh, I'm gonna give it a try, see how it is, but it is what it is. What about you, Mike?
Oh, I have nothing on this week. A little update for you. Splatoon, I just updated and it has dropped to an 82. So you're losing some points there on the open critic battle. But I'll keep a track out and I'll keep updating that as it goes on. Moving on now, out this week. This is where we go through and give you some of the games that you can play on a console of your choosing this week. On September 13th, Little Orpheus comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Scourgebringer comes out on iOS and Android devices. 13, the remake of the remake, comes out on Nintendo Switch. On September 14th, You Suck at Parking comes out on Xbox Series X and X and PC. Then on September 15th, Bear and Breakfast comes out on Nintendo Switch. Metal Hellslinger, a game that I know quite a few people are excited for, comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Outer Wild sees its next-gen release on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Splitgate sees its console release on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Wayward Strand comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. So, pretty blah week, in my opinion, other than Metal Hellsinger. I'm interested in that game to see how it scores. It seems to have a really cool vibe, really unique gameplay loop. Well, I guess not, it's a first-person shooter, but just unique environment overall. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. The remake of 13 or whatever it is, it's only coming out on Switch, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's wrong. It may just be the Switch port of the game because I'm pretty sure the remake comes out next year. Well, the remake of the remake comes out next year. I will have to double check on that, but I think this is just the Switch port that's coming out this week. So we'll see.
That is fair. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see though for that game specifically when they do come out with the remaster of the remaster to see what it's if it got any better because I have been tempted to try that game, but I heard the remaster was garbage. So that'll be one of those games I'll wait till the remaster comes out. And yeah, Hellslinger, I agree with you. I'm curious to see how well it scores. It looks like a really cool game. Haven't tried the demo. The demo's been out for a while. You can just if you want to try it, you can always try the demo. But yeah, this has been a pretty meh week. So
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, this brings us to the end of our show. everyone who has either been watching or listening, we just want to take this time as always and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your continued support and current support, we could not be doing what we're trying to do here at the Experience Point. But please continue to help us grow by telling everyone how awesome we are. Or if you don't think we're awesome, just let them know that you have a couple dudes out there that just love to talk about video games. If they want to listen to us, we would really appreciate that. Mr. Birdman, any last words?
Thanks for stopping by. And I want to shout out our Patreon Platinum member, Logan Leffler. As always, we really appreciate the support. And again, yeah, if you guys have any comments or you have different opinions on what you thought of the showcase, or maybe there's something we definitely didn't catch or something like that, just tell us down below. And as always, if you really do enjoy our show, we would always appreciate you to like and subscribe. And as always, I guess we'll see you guys. Well, not see, but you guys will hear us on the next XP podcast.
Yeah, and following up on that, if you do go over to our Patreon, we have a litany of things that you can do over there. You can subscribe to any of our tiers, that be the bronze, silver, gold, or platinum tiers, and all those come with different exclusives, including PlayStation and Xbox exclusive episodes. Or you even get a chance to talk to us before the show, before we record each and every week, and sit down and just chit chat about video games with you, because that's what we love to do. Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us on our journey. I hope everyone has a great week, and as always, we'll talk to you all in the next one. See ya.
See ya.